of the fact where some of them haven't skated in a couple of years and are not used to what could turn out to be a pretty high pace. So I guess, Zach, to answer a question in a roundabout way, like I'm so used to doing, is, hey, they may not, but they once were, but they're here, and that speaks for itself.
It's fantastic, the careers of some of these players. Curtis Joseph is out there, and he mentioned that he hasn't really skated a lot. And he's going up against a very good St. John's Caps team who's going to be performing just tomorrow night, Sunday night rather.
Yep, that's a quick turnaround for them. They don't want to get banged up, but I don't know if they'll have to have too much fear. We just want to say to all our viewers on Rogers that we're kind of scrambling here a little bit tonight. Of course, it's great to be on the air to get this game gone right across the province. Of course, on Eastlink as well. Presentation of Scotiabank and Rogers. But the thing is, Zach, we got to remember that we're pretty well carrying this baby tonight. Even though I got a face for radio, you got the looks for TV too, so you're going to be just fine. So we got to remember that Steve's directing us here. Mike's back at the main studios up on Kenmount Road. So we'll wing it and we'll do the best we can. But we're going to try to concentrate on what goes on out there on the ice. But we have to advise our viewers tonight. Unfortunately, we don't have a PA feed. Something going to skew here today. So when the announcements are made of the anthems and such, we're not going to be able to bring it to you, but we'll fill in as the best that we possibly can. And another thing, too, Zach, is we're looking at I'm looking at a senior hockey team, the St. John's Capitals, who I've never seen play before. Now, thanks to Coach Wally Bray and his assistants, Michael Pritchard, and the trainer, Ed Foley, and manager Jack Casey, that did provide us with the line combinations and such. So when it comes to play-by-play of a hockey game, in a game of this structure, where it's a bit of an exhibition game and fun for the kids with the alumni, we'll just we'll have some fun and we'll do the best that we can.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see an array of talents here. We're going to see a lot of older players and a lot of younger players too. And it's going to be interesting with these legends of the Leafs. And they're going to go against some of the younger Caps. And the Caps have just been phenomenal all season long in their East Coast Senior Hockey League. And these Toronto Maple Leafs, they've been phenomenal throughout their career and their playings. Some of these guys going so far to race the Stanley Cup. So it's fantastic to see some of these guys play out here in the Mile One Center in beautiful downtown St. John's.
Well, there's three players here that were here during 9/11 back in September of 2001 when the world was shaken to its core. Curtis Joseph, Darcy Tucker, and Nick Anthropoff were members of the Maple Leafs during that training camp that got cut short. It was supposed to be a week long, and of course then everything unfolded as it did, and that was a long time ago, 17 years ago, hard to believe. But the last time that the Leafs set foot on the ice here, and I still have the program, for goodness sakes, from that game back here at Mile One Center, was on September 17th of 2001, Toronto beating a Montreal Canadiens roster that didn't feature very many National Hockey League players. And Toronto did. I mean, they had Cujo and Mike Menard in goal that game, and Gary Roberts was here. Matt Sundin played in that game. Alan McCauley, Michael or Mikhail Renberg, if you like. Former St. John's Maple Leafs, Jeff Farkas, Bobby Wren, Carl Pilash, Francois Bouchard, the captain Ethan Dempsey, DJ Smith, now an assistant with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and soon to be a head coach in the National Hockey League, I would think. We're in the line. Donnie McLean, who won a scoring title with the Baby Leafs here in St. John's, was there that night too. So that was quite a memory from way back when, but hard to believe that that's 17 years ago.
Yeah, an exhibition game that really brought out the hearts of the fans after such a tragic time.
Yeah.
And then all of them come into Mile One Center at the time, and just getting together in a brand new building too at that.
It was. They helped christen it and open it here. And, they did a great job here. Coming here, during that tumultuous time with all the planes on the tarmacs at St. John's International. And I remember it well because our staff, led by Glenn Stanford, this was the Baby Leafs days, of course, when our office was actually over in the Delta Hotel. We just come through the Pedway and into Mile One. But I remember that tragic day of the events unfolding, and we spent pretty well 24 hours up and in this building in particular. I remember it was an all-night affair where we had to usher all the different flights and sections, the people into sections, to make sure that they were looked after with whatever we provided. It was quite a time. But in a roundabout way, it's a full circle. As I mentioned, Curtis Joseph and Darcy Tucker. We'll see those interviews in our second intermission tonight. talking about that to a certain degree. So it should be a lot of fun. I guess if you're head coach Wally Bray of the St. John's Capitals, you're probably instructing your players to not be physical in a game like this. And also remember, as you mentioned at the outset of the broadcast, is that these guys are getting ready to play for the first East Coast Senior Hockey League title on beginning Sunday against Southern Shore. So they want to be ready for that. They don't want to be dinged up going into that, taking a run at a guy maybe that's 25 or 30 years older than them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm a coach, I got the reins on. I tell you that. You got the old horse reins on. Well, Chris Batstone is the in-house PA announcer, is the amazing Guido has been for many, many years. He'll guide us through this evening, but Zach and I are going to probably have to take charge of a little bit of that as they prepare to bring on the Scotiabank skater here tonight. So we are kind of underway as young Nicholas will skate a lap. That's Nicholas Jones from the Conception Bay region, Adam Maple Leafs. And he's got good wheels for a little guy. Look at him motor down the ice here in Mile 1 Center to a rousing applause from a lot of Blue and White fans out there tonight, Zach. He did that lap quickly.
That was a fast lap.
Wasn't it? That kid might find himself in a skills competition somewhere down the road years from now. But he can wheel like that at this age. That's
a lot of skating like Steven Stamkos out there. A very young version of him. And
9 years old, and that was a great little lap. So Chris Batstone of 97.5 K-Rock will introduce the players as they come to the ice. We do have ambience to provide you for, but we want to make sure that we try to keep you up to scratch as best as we can. As you can hear Chris in the background, let's introduce the St. John's Senior Captain, starting with the goaltender number 1. Here's Scotty Bray, the son of his head coach.
Bray will be the starting goaltender as he's been earning the trust of his coach.
Wally Bray, of course. Kyle Downer is Scotty's compatriot in goal. He's number 35. There's double zeros. That's taking a ballsy approach to a jersey. Twin zeros. Cody Squires. Brandon Hadflesh from off curl, number 2. Mitch Flynn was on the ice, number 3. Here's Ryan Walsh, and now coming up, Roger Pender, number 5, hitting the ice. Followed up by number 7, Justin O'Reilly. John Ryan is number 9. And here he comes as I get a little ahead of myself. Terry Ryan was supposed to be here wearing 10, but he's overseas in Scotland. Jason Mumu, as they are preparing to film more episodes of the hit Frontiers. So Pat Powers, number 11, Robert Barrett, 12, Steve Tilley, 13. And here's Johnny Call, number 14, former AAA midget Maple Leaf. Perry McDonald's number 16, and here comes 18, Dylan Brake. Fine hockey player's been around for a while. Now we got Dylan Brake. Matt Fewer is number 19. A few screams from Matt, must be a popular dude. Sound like the ladies like him. Mark Reinert is number 20 as he makes his way to the surface at mile 1. Robert Inder, defenseman, number 22.
Inder's on the third line tonight.
Dakota Warren's number 23. That's a hockey name for you. Jake Pitcher is number 25. Brandon Fuhr was supposed to be here. He wears 55, but he called back to work in Albert. Here's Jeremy Barron, number 61. That was Alberta, I meant to say, not Albert, although there are Golden Bears in Alberta. Kodiaks, Grizzlies, and every other kind. Jeremy McDonald, 71. Zach Hill is number 77. And Chad Rinson is the third goalie, wearing number 30. And there's the captain of the team, Mike Druken, who is related to former Toronto Maple Leaf and St. John's Maple Leaf, Harold Druken. They're cousins. Mike Druken wears number 17, and he is your captain of the St. John's Capitals.
Crowd's starting to roar a little bit. The St. John's Maple Leafs are starting to head onto the ice, led by Curtis Joseph.
Yeah, well, Cujo was here, of course. He's one of the winningest goalies in NHL history. He hit a roar for Cujo. Cujo wearing his covenant number 31.
903 save percentage while with the Leafs, and he carried them in the playoffs all throughout the early 2000s.
Here's Gary Lehman, who remains the 19th highest scorer in Toronto Maple Leaf club history. He scored 50 goals in the season for the Leafs on one occasion. Here's my friend Dave Reed, who I've known for a long time. Dave is on the NHL Network course, former Leaf, former Boston Bruin. If it had been for Brendan McCarthy, Telegram probably tuned in tonight, but no Reader well from playing in many national slow pitch championships across the country. Used to run into Dave. He was on a really good team from Ajax, Ontario. And here's Darcy Tucker, and everyone knows the affable Darcy Tucker, right at Castro, Alberta. Darcy, of course, been coming to St. John's a long time. He was here back in the day with the Fredericton Canadians.
Darcy Tucker with over 1,400 penalty minutes in his career.
Yep.
He's a tough customer.
And there's Kevin McGuire, one of the original baby Leafs. He only played the one season, but then turned to become an AHL referee, and he's a beauty, no question. Wayne Primo is also wearing jersey number 18. In fact, there's 3 of them there we caught during the warm-ups game. We weren't quite sure, because Christian Hansen is supposed to wear number 20, but he got straddled with an 18 as well. So you got 3 guys wearing number 18.
He enters the ice now.
Yep.
3 of them are actually together now. McGuire, Primo, and Henson there all lined up at the blue line.
And Drooks gets a big ovation. There he is, my buddy, the Wolverine, Harold Drookin. Hasn't played in quite some time. I'm not sure Drooks in game shape now, but we had a great conversation here earlier this evening. Mike Zigomanis, who didn't play a great deal with Toronto, but he played
a lot with the Marlies.
Marlies, and fans here in St. John's will remember the Z-Man. He was a very good offensive player. One of the top scorers in the AHL during his tenure. Here comes one heck of a guy, Steve Stumpy Thomas from Stockport, England. Father of Christian Thomas, who now plays for the Wilkes-Barre Stratton Penguins of the AHL. And most recently won a gold medal overseas, right?
Yes, in the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympics.
Yeah. Here's Ally O'Frady, and man, I'll tell you what, there's a guy that used to be able to wire the puck from Dearborn, Michigan, and a fun guy for sure. Ally O'Frady, with the hardest slap shot in the National Hockey League for many, many years.
Watch out for that, because that's an absolute laser.
Here's another former baby Leaf in Nikolai Antropov, number 80. I remember Antropov when he first came to St. John's. It was at Memorial Stadium. I like him to do a pterodactyl. Back in those prehistoric days, he was that much bigger and larger and had the wingspan. And here's Shooter Vibe. Ricky Vibe from Charlottetown, PEI. Good buddy. We'll hear from Rick in our second intermission. Ricky Vibe, of course, is the all-time Maple Leaf hero when it comes to scoring goals in a season. Rick scored 50-plus goals in 3 different seasons. So there's Rick Vibe, the captain, wearing his coveted number 22. And 92 is going to make his way to the surface, and listen to this ovation.
He's wearing the old St. John's Maple Leafs there.
That's an original jersey right there. 91-92.
Hasn't been
I
around
don't know if I
in a
want
long
to check
time.
under the armpits of that. There might be some stains on it, you know? I mean, I don't think you're going to get rid of that after all this time, but Mike Drukin and Ricky Vibe will come to center for tonight's ceremonial face-off. And Viber, as he likes to hold the puck a lot, wins the draw against the gracious Mike Drukin, courtesy of Buddy the Puffin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, time to rise as Sarah Newell will sing the national anthem. And again, we apologize for the lack of PA feed here this evening. and a rousing ovation for Jane Batstone, not Sarah Newell, who was originally slated to sing the anthem. Nice work by Jane Batstone. Did a beautiful job on O Canada. Well, Chris Batstone right now in the background is a tribute here to my dear friend, my beloved brother, Greg Bird Dog Smith, who 3 weeks ago today passed away at the tender age of 51 after a courageous 4-year battle with cancer. Bird Dog was just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful man. One of his best friends in hockey and all around, Todd Gillingham, who's no stranger, of course, to hockey fans. He was the first native son to ever play in the American Hockey League or the St. John's Maple Leaf. So there's for Bird Dog, Greg Smith. He's up in hockey heaven right there. He's up in hockey heaven. Here's the Bird Dog. God bless Greg Smith. But Todd Gillingham said, Zach, that Bird loved the game, the city, and the great province of Newfoundland and Labrador more than anyone that Todd had ever met. And he was from Corner Brook, Newfoundland. He had the pleasure of playing with Bird for 4 seasons. He honestly said there was never a better teammate, friend, and roommate that he'd ever known. He had a heart as big as his courage. He was not only a teammate, but a great friend. Anyone that has ever played with or against Greg Bird Dog Smith, I'm sure will tell you the same. This evening's game between the St. John's Caps and the Toronto Maple Leaf Alumni is dedicated to Greg Bird Dog Smith. Rest in peace, my beloved brother.
Fantastic career for Greg Smith. He's played a lot of time here at St. John's.
Well, he was a courageous soldier, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the wonderful things he did for the St. John's Maple Leafs as the broadcast continues on. We're going to have some fun here at a Good Friday evening. Welcome into the St. Paddy's Day weekend. And we're already here for puck drop at center ice as we get set for the face-off here. The referees tonight are, now they may have changes, but Teddy Murphy, the veteran Ted Murphy, along with Mike Shea, I believe, are the refs tonight. Nick Antropop will come to center ice against Jeremy Barron in this Friday night St. Paddy's Day weekend. Exhibition hockey game is underway from Mile 1 Center as Ally of Freddie wheels it up to Ricky Vive. Vive with a feed across from Nick Antropop, looking back for Steve Thomas, and Thomas couldn't negotiate, and the Caps will bring it back the other way. Here's the first shot on goal. Curtis Joseph with a pad save there, and a puck in front of the net. Thomas had it momentarily, gets it back, and Steve Thomas will outlet it, but it's gobbled up here by Jeremy Barron. Barron trying to throw it across for O'Reilly. That's intercepted, and slowly moving up the left wing into Cap territory. Thomas in the feed. Vive goes to the backhand. The save is made by Scotty Bray, and then Ricky Vive tried to work it out front for Antropop, but he couldn't get Nick the biscuit. Playing 3 15-minute stop time periods on this Friday evening, the 16th of March 2018 from Mile 1 Center. Here's an opportunity for the veteran Steve Tilley, who tried to ricochet that one in Zach off Iafredi, but it didn't beat Curtis Joseph from that tight angle. Kind of have the impression so far, Zach, that the skating, of course, tonight may not be full tilt boogie up there, but should see some interesting developments as Kevin McGuire leads 3-18s out there. His line mates and they score. He goes top shelf with a redirect, and the Leafs have a 1-0 lead, so the line of 18s work. They may not be 18 years old, but they're all wearing jersey 18. Quick hurdle.
It's hard to tell who scored out there with all the number 18.
It was Kevin McGuire.
But what a beautiful pass out in front to get it out to Kevin McGuire, who bangs that one home.
So your first scoring play comes at 1:28 into the contest. And it will be Kevin McGuire. That was McGuire that got the... So it was Kevin McGuire that went to the backhand. He got that through traffic. And it's 1-0 announced Wayne Primo. But Wayne Primo, Christian Thomas, and here's Primo, along with Kevin McGuire, as we mentioned, wearing jersey 18. Somebody forgot to pack Hansen's number 20, and Primo, I think, would have had 19. Dave Reed setting it up in front, backhand shot, and they score again. Holy cow, it's Kevin McGuire with a pair on the same ship.
Kevin McGuire gets the pass out in front by Dave Reed. And Dave Reed, what an excellent pass as he came that right from the blue line and moved it right in towards the center ice area and to bang that one in.
Boy, you got to give Kevin McGuire credit. He's struggling to get off the ice just to get to the bench because he had a hernia operation back in December. So that's gutsy, him coming out tonight to play like that. And now Gary Lehman will lead an attack inside the St. John zone. Thrown towards Scotty Brigg and his paddle down on that. 2-0 Toronto. And a pair from Kevin McGuire on the same ship here in the early going tonight from A1 Center. Here's a feed out of the slot. Lehman dishing one off here as the Caps kind of motsied around in their own zone a little bit.
Scored by number 18, is it?
I don't know if Guido picked up on that originally. Now the Caps will mosey inside the zone as they try to get some offense started here this evening. Puck back to the blue line. Kept in there by Robert Indu. The shot is off the end boards. And St. John's going to work. There's double zeros out there. Cody Squires. Puck back to the point. Good defensive play there by Zigomanis. As the Caps were poised for a loose biscuit. That was Patty Power waiting for that puck, but it never got to him. Power comes back in his own zone. He's going to drop it off here. St. John's get organized, and they'll work it up ice. A drop pass from pitcher. And Power on the move. He's got John Call with him. A call. Now, as Power goes into the corner, goes after the puck. John Call, the former St. John's AAA midget, way back when. Hitting the puck to the point for Zach Hill. Hill, of course, sort of the softball family, the Hills, led by their father, John. Here's an outlet pass as the Primo 18 is out there now with Ricky Vive, and he's also got Nick Antropov with him. In fact, the Maple Leafs only got 13 players here, correct?
Yeah, they only have 13 players and one defenseman charted down here. They got 3 solid lines, but they only got the 1 defenseman and the 1 goaltender.
And that's big ally and Freddie on the back end, and Cujo between the pipes. And Cujo's only faced the 1 shot so far here from St. John. Scotty Bray's had to deal with 3. 2 of them went by him. And Kevin McGuire scored them both. An original Baby Leaf in 91-92.
Cujo with a long stick out there. Stopping that one.
Curtis joking with us in the meet and greet earlier for Rogers customers. This plays offside, or at least it looked like it might have been Antropop. Over here, and Gray with a fine save as Primo tried to connect for the first time here tonight. Scotty Bray holding the fort as Primo plays it back. Antropop wanted to shoot, decided not to, and Nick will dangle it in the corner. He'll play it back to the point. Darcy Tucker, Gary Lehman poised there now. Tucker moves up, and you'll see this trend, I'm sure, in a game of this structure and nature, that you'll get a lot of guys that are playing on the back end. They'll just back up, get it off their stick as quick as they can, and get out of the defensive zone.
No one really wants to skate. It's like a big old game of foosball out there.
It kind of is. Here's a shot. Bray makes the save. That's off of Wayne Primo. And now the St. John's Capitals trying to get up ice, but it's intercepted. Christian Hansen, here's 5 alone, and a big save by Bray as Scotty got his cowhide crab on that one. And Lehman tried a shot, and that never got through. Now fed up ice, intercepted, and away comes Zigomanis. And a steam, let it fly. Bray made that stop as well. Scotty Bray under a deluge of Sherwood biscuits here in the early going of this first period, with Toronto leading St. John's 2-0. That sounds familiar. Back in the day, especially when the Marlies started to rule the Ice Caps in the last 2 seasons. The Marlies come to St. John's, thought they were playing a home game, for goodness sakes.
A lot of Leafs fans out there today, and along when they were.
Now, just wait till the ECHL comes to St. John's, and the team will be affiliated with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Glenn Stanford got a big role in them. You talk to him, and we'll see that in the first intermission.
Coming up in our first intermission, Glenn Stanford is the president of the newly founded company, led by the chairman of the board, Dean McDonald. Here's a feedback and a shot. They score. The Caps are on the board. A wicked wrist shot there. Lovely shot And we're getting timeout here. And in-house Billy Hart there, but the Caps are on the board, and I apologize. I'm not quite sure who let it go. It might have been Jeremy Barrett. But we'll hear the announcement momentarily. But now some in-house stuff from Billy Hart of Coast 101. Just a reminder that hockey coverage continues on Rogers TV Channel 9 this weekend from the Glacier of Mount Pearl, the Newfoundland and Labrador Major Midget Hockey Playoffs. Showing Zach Power for all the play-by-play action between the St. John's Midget Maple Leafs and the Western Kings. And that game will be on Rogers TV tomorrow night at 7:30. Zach, good luck with that. And then you're back in your 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, for goodness sake.
A quick turnaround, but we'll be live coast to coast in Newfoundland and that area. And you can watch us on RogersTV.com. As I'll be excited to see that. We'll see another version of the Maple Leafs out there. That's game number 4, as they'll be going against the Western Kings in the finals in the Major Midget AAA. It's going to be interesting to see all these games from the Glacier now, and there's one going on right now out there, as that's going to be filmed and played at a later date. But in the meantime, we're here at the beautiful Mile 1 Center, where I'm here now, and we're seeing the
get an in-house timeout here, and there's a lot of Leafs that are coming on and doing their thing. We would have loved to be able to pass that along. That best of 7 AAA Midget Championship between Western and St. John's is tied at 1-1 currently,
yes,
from what I understand. Yeah. So have fun with that. 7:30 tomorrow night on Rogers Channel 9, the Western Kings and the St. John's Midget Maple Leafs. Zach Power on the call here on Rogers Cable 9, 7:30 Saturday night, 10 o'clock on Sunday morning from the Glacier in Mount Pearl. I wish you all the best with that venture. As we were saying at the outset of our broadcast tonight on Rogers and Eastlink across Newfoundland and Labrador, we want to say good evening to all your viewers and hope you're enjoying the action. A fun broadcast. We're certainly not being as polished as one normally would be. You get thrown into the broadcast booth and you say, absolutely sure, and here we go, we're ready to go again. But having some fun, and a nice crowd here tonight at Mile 1 Center cheering on the St. John's Capitals, and in particular, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that was a dedication to Curtis Joseph.
Curtis Joseph is best known, remembered for his game in 1997 when he was with the Edmonton Oilers versus the Stars, and he had an excellent paddle save. He played a lot with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He got traded back there, signed again rather, in the late 2000s, as he played there once. He's just been absolutely phenomenal. 903 save percentage in his NHL career, and again a 903 save percentage while he was with Toronto. So interesting double-edged sword there, as he's been playing well, and he's got a beautiful pad save.
And it was Jeremy Barron with a great wrist shot. Barron, of course, one of the highly skilled forwards in this team. Steve Tilley with a chance only in his pocket pick there by Darcy Tucker, parked in front of Curtis Joseph. Here comes Harold Drukett inside the zone. He'll try a backhand pass through the slot intended there for Steve Thomas, but Drukes couldn't get him the biscuit. Now Drukes, he can still shoot the puck, I'm sure. It's been a while since Harold's been on his skates. I think he told me 3 years. So he's probably not going to be playing a whole lot of defense in this game here tonight, but offense, he can still stretch it out. He faked the drop pass, Thomas in the middle for Antropop, and the Caps take it away. Opportunity now here for Ryan as he moseys in, waits, lets it go. Joseph made the stop. The rebound gathered up here by Tilley, cross door feet. Great save by Curtis Joseph. Holy cow, he stretched across there and made a fantastic stop. And the fans acknowledge Cujo's suddiness in that one. Here's a drop pass for Antropop. Backdoor there for Tucker, and he couldn't complete some nifty passing. Well, that was a dandy stop by Cujo. His best clearly in the hockey game. Here's a shot to score. Wayne Primo doesn't miss this time. So we have 3 Toronto Maple Leaf alumni wearing jersey 18. Kent McGuire, of course, is the original. He scored twice. Primo wearing 18, as is Christian Hansen. And it's Wayne Primo's turn, and it's 3-1 Toronto.
Curtis Joseph on one end made an excellent pad save, stretching across, a little bit of old school Curtis Joseph. And then on the other end, cashing in is Wayne Primo, getting that goal there as the Maple Leafs take a 3-1 lead.
Maple Leafs, alumni goal, scored by number 18, Wayne Primo. Time of the goal, 7:50.
So no assist goal out there, but there probably should have been. Nevertheless, it is an exhibition game. Christian Hansen trying to intercept that as the Caps will meander into Toronto territory. Power in the slot. Opportunity here down low. And into the corner and back out the other side as they dole the puck around. Jeremy Barron getting the Caps on the board prior to the first time out. And now an interception by Dave Reed. Reed, of course, one of the hosts of the NHL Network. Does a lot of great work. Long feet up ice, and here's another 18. Christian Hansen for Primo, and he scores again.
The 18 line is struck again, my goodness. And an excellent pass over by Christian Hansen to get that, and a well-deserved assist for him.
So Primo with a couple on this shift. McGuire in 2 in 1 shift, and it's 4-1 Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab your attention, please be sure to visit the concourse for session 120.
The pass out in front was absolutely phenomenal.
Now, I'm pretty sure that Kent McGuire did score that very first goal. He went to the backhand shot up positive. I know that it was announced as Primo, but the confusion being that there's 3 of them there, obviously with the same jersey number. Well, we're into another timeout here at mile 1 as they promote 50-50. And just a reminder that tonight's 50-50 payout will go to one lucky fan, obviously, as the T-shirt toss will begin. But the St. John's Capitals will be the recipient of some of the 50-50, and they're going to turn over half of that to the Jane May Children's Hospital here in St. John's. So that is fantastic.
Fantastic to see a province come together when a time of need, especially at the Janeway, when they all come together and they start to donate, even with this 50-50 here tonight.
Yeah, that's a great notion by the St. John's Caps, led by their head coach, Wally Bray. His assistant is Michael Pritchard. The manager is Jack Casey and Seamus O'Keefe. He couldn't be here tonight, but he's part owner of this St. John's Caps Senior Hockey Club, and the trainer is Ed Foley.
He's talking to Jason Piercy out on the concourse of Out of the Fog. And he's got a special Toronto Maple Leafs alumni game on Tuesday at 7:30. He's going to have the recap of that, and he's going to be talking to some fans and players, and it'll be interesting to see that.
Good stuff.
7:30 on Rogers TV.
There you have it. Mike Zigomanis trying to wheel out at center, comes back for the biscuit, which he forgot. Now it's taken away. And the Capitals, John Cobb will bring it in. Nice little crank pass into the corner as the Caps try to get themselves some offense generated here. Long outlet feed as Ricky Vive hits the St. John's line. Vive with a shot. Scotty Bray to his knees makes the save. There's Vive camped on his, almost on his pads. Get out of there, shooter. Gives him a little tap. And Scotty Bray wins that battle against Ricky Vive, number 22. Rick Vive, Darcy Tucker, and Curtis Joseph, our second intermission guests here on this Friday night, part of the St. Paddy's Day weekend. We're going to be going out this weekend. Make sure you're finding your own transportation, no drinking and driving, any of that foolishness. Have some fun. Be safe. Feed up ice here for Zigomanis. Was cut down there by Roger Pender. Puck now squirting back out into neutral territory at center. Here's Darcy Tucker. Pass intended for Zigomanis. Ends up on the stick of Kevin McGuire, and he centered one, and the Caps take it away. And now they're going to move up ice, and here's an opportunity now for St. John's. Buer dishing one into the far corner. Try to set that up, and St. John's will try to start anew. Centered out in front. That hopped over the stick of Mark Rideout. And here, Darcy Tucker comes away with Mike Zigomanis. Toronto with a 4-1 lead. 4:35 to go, and that one's wired over top of the goal by Steve Thomas, who can still zing that puck. He's going to get it back here. Stumpy, as he was affectionately known all those years. There's had a son, Christian Thomas, who I nicknamed Little Stumpy, but he played for the St. John's Ice Cap. It just seemed apropos at the time.
He played with
Corny and cheesy, but apropos. I'm sorry?
He played with the Montreal organization as he got drafted through there, and he later got traded on to the Arizona organization, and he played a few games there, and he's been bouncing around the league since, but now he's with the Wilkes-Barre Stratton.
Yeah, and he won the gold medal, of course, part of Team Canada overseas in South Korea as well, so that was pretty cool, right? They won the bronze medal, pardon me.
Right.
Won a medal. I'm getting old, boy. It's been a while in the broadcast booth, so.
Huge accomplishment over there.
Pardon me, yes. Winning a bronze medal, Canada winning the bronze, that's right. Ujo with a pretty nifty play. He kicked that puck from his goalie skates to his stick to get it out to center, but the Caps will bring it back in, and there's Dave Reed to gather it up, going for a dangle in front of Curtis Joseph. And Dave Reed will put on the brakes and throw it back here for Gary Lehman. Lehman with an outlet pass for Nick Hand for a pop. He's got Primo and Thomas with him. Here's Stumpy Thomas throwing it back. Lehman's got it, tried a shot. That was deflected. Thomas gets it back. Taken away along the boards by Barrett and fed back in as Toronto continue. Put a little press on, and now St. John's with some breathing room will bring it up ice. They're trailing 4-1. Here's an opportunity, and Joseph with another fine save there. On a real good hard shot there from Barrett. Wayne Primo and Kevin McGuire with 2 goals apiece and a 4-1 Toronto lead here with 2:35 to go to the first intermission. And we'll hear from Glenn Stanford on the new ECHL franchise. Here's Darcy Tucker leading a 4-man rush into the zone. Here's a cross-ice feed. And Ally Afraidy. Sorry about that, Brooks. I got you and Afraidy mixed up there a little bit. Harold's got lots of hair. Al doesn't, but they both kind of have the same girth, and Joseph makes another fine save, this time off O'Reilly.
Curtis Joseph making some nice saves.
He is indeed.
Fantastic.
I'm not an analytical guy. I don't pay any attention to the numbers and such as a lot of pro sports teams do now in this day and age, but I'm working on a pretty good performance. And there's a beautiful goal by Ricky Vine, set up by Kevin McGuire, turning it into an offensive juggernaut here. And Meggs slowly to his feet, getting a fist pump from Ricky Vive, and it's 5-1 Toronto.
Ricky Vive getting the pass out in front, and he gets that goal there. And just like he has time and time again posting those 50-goal seasons, he might score 50 goals here, as this has just been an absolute blowout so far. It's 5-1, 147 left.
Viver from Kevin McGuire. I guess they're not doling out assists now. Helen Gweed who gets the assist, but we know who got that helper. And that was Kevin McGuire.
Definitely earns a point there.
The only original baby leap St. John's Maple Leafs from the 91-92 season is number 18, which he wore when he played in St. John's as well. Here's Harold Druken now busting down the left wing, a feed for Zigomanis. Leaves the puck to Darcy Tucker, who tucks it in and has a helper, and it's 6-1 Toronto.
Darcy Tucker with a snipe over the blocker there. So he got that pass out in front.
So the Maple Leafs having their way with the St. John's Capitals here in the opening period, and Harold Druken in on the action there.
36 seconds after that last goal, and Toronto capitalizes once again for a 6-1 lead.
Wow.
Alumni goal, scored by number 16, Darcy Tucker.
Now they're not announcing assists, but Druken definitely got a helper on that. So for what it's worth, into the final minute here, Mile 1 Center, first intermission coming up, and a feature interview I had this morning with Glenn Stanford. Of course, Glenn
got a big hand in that ECHL going around in the Mile 1 area.
Absolutely, lots of excitement. Now you're going to have 60 guaranteed nights here. You'll have ECHL hockey and the National Basketball League of Canada with the St. John's Edge, are a great story in their inaugural season.
Going all the way to the playoffs.
They're already in. They've already clinched, and they're vying for first overall.
Great time to be a sports fan in Newfoundland with Hickey down in the Olympics and Guju and all the Briar. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yep, Liam Hickey doing a great job for Canada, playing the U.S. at the Paralympics in South Korea, looking for a gold medal. The Americans have had Canada's number in the what we call sledge hockey. Here's a shot. Joseph with another fine pad save through his screen. I wonder if the Caps will start to give it hard as Antropov had a breakaway. And Scotty Bray will turn it aside as Antropov left the puck where it was. And the buzzer sounds to end the opening period of play. And if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, and you brought your kids down, you're sporting your jersey, or your St. John's Maple Leafs jersey, you're going to like what you saw in the first 20 minutes of play as they lit it up, winning the first period outright, outscoring St. John's by a count of 6-1. So after 20 minutes of play on this Friday evening, the 16th of March, the year 2018, from the Bobco Media Center in Mile 1, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs Alumni 6 and the St. John's Senior Capitals 1. Jeremy Barron, the only goal scorer for the locals. What did you think of the first period of play?
I thought it was a fantastic period. Curtis Joseph playing absolutely phenomenal throughout there in between the pipes and kicking out the pad 2 and 3 times out there. And we've seen bits and pieces of the old Cujo. And Cujo said he hasn't really skated too much. And the way he's just been playing is absolutely phenomenal. And the juggernaut of the 18 line out there for the Toronto Maple Leafs between Wayne Primo and McGuire, they've just been absolutely fantastic out there and scoring lots of goals and generating lots of assists. Some of them starting early as 128 and ending all the way down to 13:47 of this first period of this contest. And we might see a few more goals here tonight.
I got a feeling that you're going to see a few more goals. Cujo is saying, no, you're not. But Kyle Downer, when he gets this opportunity to probably play half this game as Scotty Bray, they'll split it up. They'll try to shut the door. But they were beaten by some big league nifty plays and some great shots, no question about that. Let's continue on in our first intermission on this Friday evening from Mile 1 Center. I conducted an interview with Glenn Stanford earlier today here at Mile 1, and let's join that interview now, and I think you'll find it pretty impressive. Lots of good things coming. Back hockey is on its way to St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Hello, hockey fans. On this Friday evening, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs Alumni against the St. John's Greensleeves Capitals, who are vying for the East Coast Senior Hockey League title against the Southern Shore Breakers, beginning on Sunday night in Mobile. I'm with the president of Deacon Sports and Entertainment, Mr. Glenn Stanford. Glenn, thanks for joining us on the broadcast. And there's a lot of buzz around town, so you've done a marvelous job, you and Dean McDonald.
Well, yeah, thanks, Brian. I mean, it wasn't just myself and Dave McDonald. Obviously, you know, we had to come to an agreement with the Edge ownership and Mr. Simon and Mrs. Sabah, and then obviously St. John Sports and Entertainment and Mayor Breen and the City of St. John. So really in the final analysis here, you know, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, this thing has been dead a couple of times, and I think, to be fair to all parties involved, they made a decision what was best for the City of St. John's, and what was best for the City of St. John's was to have both basketball and hockey here in this building and have close to 60 nights. So it was really a partnership from everybody.
Fantastic stuff, and you can just feel the buzz around town. People are talking about it, and I know you've got a fair amount of work to still do. You know, and Glenn, when you consider that the Maple Leafs alumni is here tonight, the last time that they were here was during 9/11 in 2001, it's almost as if we've gone full circle here to be an affiliate in the East Coast Hockey League, or pardon me, the ECHL, the new moniker of the league, with Toronto is, I don't want to say it's freaky, but it's pretty cool.
Well, it is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, Toronto has a long history here from 91 till 2005, and then, you know, we were trying to make some decisions here over the last year or so as to the route we were going to go with hockey in this building, whether it was ECHL, whether it was Quebec Major Junior. You know, we felt that that the ECHL was the way to go. It was still pro hockey, and then, you know, the carrot on the cake was the, you know, potential relationship with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And as you know, that's you know, this town is a Toronto town, it's a Montreal town, and we've seen that in their own games over the last number of years. So yeah, so that partnership obviously strengthens the relationship. I think it strengthens the product that we'll have on the ice next year. And yeah, so it's kind of like full circle coming from 1991.
Fantastic. 3 players in tonight's lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni: Darcy Tucker, Curtis Joseph, and Nick Antropov, were all here during that exhibition game on September 17th, 2001 at Mile 1 between Toronto and Montreal. So I know those guys have got to be revved up, and there's Ricky Bive and Steve Thomas and a cast of other lead characters, including Harold Druken, a hometown boy, playing in front of the hometown crowd here tonight.
Well, it's interesting, you know. I remember that, that year very vividly, obviously, because we were running the building here and the convention center, and it was interesting with, you know, with all the planes that were grounded in Canada. I think the first plane that actually took off in Canada after all of the in the disastrous 3 or 4 days was actually the Toronto Maple Leafs chartering from Toronto to come here to play here for the training camp, and then to try to get this building ready for that particular game when we still had you know, obviously visitors over in the convention center, and we still had people here in this building who still never got out. So that was actually a tumultuous time when we opened up this building. And you're right, yeah, I mean, it's interesting that it's Toronto, that it's now back here again. Yeah.
Gary Roberts, of course, was front and center during that trip as well, having his parents born and raised on Twillingate, or in Twillingate, New World Island, Newfoundland and Labrador. Glenn, I guess one of the most exciting things moving forward here with the ECHL franchise for St. John's is naming the team and coming up with a color scheme, et cetera, and I'm sure that's going to be something that'll be jockeyed about for a little while before the final decision is made. And having asked you to that question, which I'll get you to answer as soon as I shut up, do the fans have any input into that type of thing, or were you just going maybe the Idea Factory kind of motion toward it?
No, we've been watching. There's a lot of fan forums taking place on all the social medias and all the local media, whether it's the Telegram, CBC, VOCM, and the other radio stations. We've been watching that pretty closely with regards to the potential names that are out there. So the answer is no. We're not just going to, you know, pick our name. We've been, as I said, we've been very careful with the number of suggestions that have come out. Some good, some bad. And you know, we'll make a decision, both myself and Dean, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and try to make it as something that we feel will be representative of the city and the province of Newfoundland. So it's a tough job to do, and as like Dean said the other night, it's like almost naming your child. What name do you give your child? But I'm sure once we you know, once we decide on the name, you know, people would like it. Some people will not like it, and the most important thing, I believe, is the product that's going to come here next year, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with the caliber of product in the ECHL. Yeah,
I've talked to a number of broadcasters in the ECHL that used to be in the American Hockey League, and they tell me exactly the same thing, fans, that it's a good, hard-nosed, robust, energetic brand of hockey, and it's only a step below the American Hockey League, which is only a step below the NHL. I mean, it's all predicated on youngsters and the skill sets. So these leagues are not much different separation between them.
No, there's not. You know, and we did our research, you know, over the last 6 or 7 months, as I said, when trying to decide on, you know, whether it's Q, and no disrespect to Q, because to be quite frank with you, there was nothing available in the Q. So if there was nothing available, you don't have anywhere to go. Yeah. But you know, a lot of the guys that I've had a relationship with over the years, Dave Andrews and Craig Heisinger in Winnipeg and Mark Hunter in Toronto, and just asking them, you know, what about this league? And what came back about this league is the same sentiment from everybody, is that this is a very good league, and it's a very high caliber league, and probably the best one came from Dave Andrews, who, as president of the American Hockey League, even said to me, you know, once you get down to the playoffs and the playoff run and playoff hockey, and if you didn't know the jerseys that are on the ice, you probably wouldn't know which league that you're playing with. So you know, that's how close. Obviously, the American Hockey League is obviously a better league, but that's how close the gap has become over the years between the ECHL and the AHL. Yeah.
Well, Glenn, you know it all too well, being born and raised here in St. John's and being part of the hockey scene in Newfoundland and Labrador since its inception in '91, at least from a pro rank, that the fans here are good, knowledgeable hockey fans. They'll pay their money to see a team work hard and give a solid effort, and I guess that's what you try to maybe predicate or build the foundation of this hockey club, starting with the coach, obviously, somebody who can push all the right buttons, and then getting the right set of players here to compromise the roster.
Yeah, you're right, and obviously, you know, Toronto will have a big say in all of that, and with regards to the coaching and you know, majority of the contracted players. But the nice thing about this team that we didn't have with the American Hockey League is that we can fill out the roster the way we hope to, obviously in cooperation with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, you know, it allows you potentially to go out there and give somewhat of a Newfoundland slant on your roster, depending on what players might be available, whether it's the AHL, whether it's the ECHL, whether it's former players in Europe who want to come back to St. John's, and the same thing with coaches. And so it allows you to fill out the roster a little bit better and a little bit more with regards to local content than we had with the American Hockey League. As you know, your National Hockey League team gave you the players, and there was no say locally. So it's a good opportunity for us to take a look at that, and to your point, develop a roster that hopefully our fans would enjoy, and hopefully our fans would support.
Is your phone blowing up?
That's been pretty busy. Yeah, it's interesting to hear about a lot of former players and a lot of former coaches who I haven't heard in 15, 20 years, who want to come back to St. John's. And I think that speaks well for the city of St. John's and for the fans and for the support that this community has. That when you all of a sudden you haven't heard from guys who've been coaching for 15 to 20 years, and there's an opportunity to come back to St. John's, and you're hearing from a lot of these former guys over the last 3-4 days who would love to come back to the city, and I think it speaks well for the reputation of the city.
Well, the St. John's Hockey Club, whatever they may become known as in the near future, will play in the Northern Division. So when you look at that from a geographical standpoint, that makes a whole lot of sense, obviously. And you're going back into familiar towns like the Portland Maine Mariners will be an expansion team this coming season. Of course, you've got Worcester, you've got Manchester, Adirondack and Glens Falls, the Brampton Beast, Reading, Pennsylvania. It's not too far from Hershey or Philly. So you're basically, Glenn, almost revisiting the landscape you did in years gone by in the American Hockey League, in particular the Atlantic Seaboard. Yeah,
no question. It's no different really when you take a look at the schedule, and you know the road schedule better than I because you've been at it more than I. We fly to Toronto and then we fly to Boston and bus around. We've been doing that for the last 6 years with the Ice Caps, and that's what we'll be doing. We fly into Boston, we go to Portland, Manchester, Worcester, down to Reading, up to Adirondack, and then hopefully on those trips to Jacksonville, Orlando, and Fort Myers, I'll go on those trips in January and February and continue with that. So, yeah, it's really no different. When we took a look at the schedule, it's really no different than our American Hockey League schedule. We have 6 road trips that are planned, very similar to the AHL. So it's not the distance that people think it is. It's very familiar territory and very familiar road trips that we've had in the past.
Glenn Stanford, of course, is with Deacon Sports and Entertainment, who are led by the chairman of the board, Dean McDonald, has the newest franchise in the ECHL. I'm former Ice Caps and Leafs broadcaster Brian Rogers, but Glenn, during this Friday evening exhibition game, Toronto Maple Leafs Alumni and the St. John's Greensleeves Capitals. Glenn, on a closing note here, I want to talk a little bit about our dear beloved friend Greg Bird Dog Smith. 3 weeks ago, got the call that Bird had succumbed after a very courageous battle with cancer over 4 years. He died at the tender age of 51, and this game is being dedicated to Bird. Truly a wonderful guy outside of that great big, strapping body and maybe the snarliness that he liked to portray on the ice, but he was a wonderful guy. Huge heart, like a big teddy bear. He'd do anything for anybody. We're going to miss him an awful lot. We really do. Yeah,
it's been difficult. Obviously, I was... got to spend a lot of time, probably more so with Greg than the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, and I did with him when we were with St. John's, because he hangs around with a lot of my buddies in the Dart League, and Billy Breen and Cy Morris and Dick Davis and those guys, and so got to see him quite a bit. And last time I saw him was just after Christmas down to our friend's house, and then I was away actually when we got the news. So yeah, I mean, Bird Dog is exactly the way that you described him. He was as most guys, on the ice are. Most of those rough and tumble guys on the ice are not the same characteristic off the ice. And Greg was the type of guy that, as you said, would do anything for anybody off the ice. A big man with a big heart. And, yeah, it was a tough couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Rest in peace, Greg Smith. Dead 3 weeks ago today at the age of 51 here in St. John's. Glenn, thanks so much for this, enlightening the viewers on Rogers on this Friday evening. It feels like a work day today, being back in Ma One Center after the demise of the St. John's Ice Caps after 6 seasons. Great work, Glenn. I know that that you put your heart and soul into everything that you go near when it comes to this city, this province, and in particular this building when it comes to professional sports. You've done a great job, and we wish you and Dean and the rest of the crew all the best of luck.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Back again, hockey fans, from the Bob Cole Media Center at Mile 1 on this Friday evening, the 16th of March, the year 2018, alongside Zach Power. I'm Brian Rogers, and we say good evening to all our viewers on Rogers and Eastling, across Newfoundland and Labrador. Zach, a pretty entertaining opening period for a real good crowd here tonight. Watching the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni against the St. John Senior Caps. How about a summary of that first period of scoring? It came fast and furious, my friend.
We started off early with 1:28 into the first period where Toronto gets the first goal. Wayne Primo gets that one. And then later on, just a few seconds later, Toronto gets another one to make it 2-0. That one by McGuire and Reed. Then Jeremy Barron comes for the Caps to make it a 2-1 hockey game. Later on, it would be Primo again. He would score twice. Getting assists there is Thomas and Hansen. Then later on, with 13:11 left in the first period, Toronto gets one there by Vive. That one assisted by McGuire. And then once again, the tap off the period. At 13:47, it's Tucker and Druken. As they'll both get points for that. And they've just been playing absolutely phenomenal. I want to talk on Steve Thomas right quick. He does have an assist here tonight. But Steve Thomas, in 174 games played in the playoffs, he has 54 goals and 107 points. He's just been playing phenomenal throughout the playoffs, and he had a fantastic marker against Ottawa. And the famous Bob Cole had the call for that, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It's one that'll give you goosebumps out here, and there's been a lot of calls that you've made tonight that almost gave me goosebumps.
You're being kind, son. I'm as rusty as an old nail, guaranteed. But carry on.
Steve Thomas and Darcy Tucker actually fought each other in 1997 and again in 1999. And it's fascinating to see these two players out there passing it off to each other and warming up together and talking a lot. You'd think that there'd be a little bit of bad blood out there. They were quite some scraps there. And
well, they were always, Thomas was a hard-nosed player. I mean, we knew with Darcy was dynamite, keg of dynamite every night, every shift, for everybody he played for. Not the biggest player, but diminutive, speedy, and rough and tough. But Steve Thomas held himself well. He was more of a clutch goal scorer, as you mentioned, than a pugilist. But hey, you know, when you got to drop them, you got to drop them. Plain and simple. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Glenn Stanford of Deacon Sports and Entertainment, because it's going to be phenomenal. I think the counterpart of both the basketball, the St. John's Edge, and the St. John's ECHL expansion team franchise will make for a great combination, great company together. I mean, it makes perfect sense that you've got two pro sports playing out of the same building. It happens all across Canada, in through the Maritimes with the Q in the National Basketball League of Canada too. So the St. John's Edge, who have been a great story, could find themselves in cahoots with the new St. John's ECHL team, and I think that bodes for some excitement in the future. In the meantime, the Edge have been a fantastic story, and from all accounts, I haven't seen much basketball because I'm not a big basketball fan, being a lifelong hockey guy, but I hear nothing but good things. So we wish everybody very well here. You know, whoever's part of it, I know with Glenn and Dean at the helm, it's going to be a success. And of course, you know, like Erwin Simon and Robert Abad down in the States as well, that makes sense, and it should be a pretty good thing, no doubt about that.
Seeing some of the basketball games there, and the crowd has just been absolutely phenomenal when the basketball was here, and it's going to be great to see them here again once more as the Toronto team replacing the Orlando Solar Bears all the way down on the southern portion of the United States, and it's going to be fun to see them as just a step below the AHL, which that's all it is too, and just a step above the AHL is the NHL, so you're right there. You feel like you're on the doorstep of the AHL and the NHL, and there's lots of players that come through the system that you're going to see, and a lot of youngsters and a lot of early draft picks, and it's going to be fun to see all these players come together for the first time before they take the ice at the ACC.
Brendan McCarthy had an interesting column in the Telegram, and I'm partial to the prop, where he's been my winger and color commentator, one of the best friends for life. We've been here together in Newfoundland, Labrador. We made a really interesting read about it turning out to be something completely different than hockey fans in this neck of the woods have been used to seeing over 20 years of American Hockey League action. And of course, 3 different Canadian teams, Toronto, Winnipeg, and Montreal, supplying the players. But it'll be a whole different animal, and it looks like it's going to be exciting. I can't personally wait. I'm not anointed by a stretch of the imagination, but I certainly am interested in that, and hopefully we'll be able to put everything together. If that good Lord says that's the way it's going to play out, Rogers TV involved, and like we have been partners forever, so that'd be nice. I think it's going to be a real good product, and it's going to be something that the ECHL are going to be glad they made the decision to come to St. John's. And I can guarantee you, with Oakland Stanford involved, and Dean McDonald has been a lifelong supporter of sports in this region. He's a former business partner of Danny Williams, our former owner, CEO of the Ice Cap. It'll be a success story. You can mark it down. With those guys at the helm, good things are going to happen.
It's been a true success story, and like you said, and it's been a long hibernation. But speaking of hibernation, it's the second period of action, Brian.
It sure is. So let's get her going here, Zach, as we watch Ricky Vive toe drag that puck up. He threw a pass in the slot intended for Antropop, and it never got here. Now the Caps try to clear it out, but Darcy Tucker's got it, and it's gobbled up here by Jacob Pitcher. Pitcher dishes off to Mitch Flynn, the former St. John's Midget Maple Leaf, and a shot ripped wide of the goal as the Caps try to penetrate Curtis Joseph. Puck sent in the slot. Cujo flashed in the pad there as the Caps come hard trying to get on the board early in this second period of play. They're down a bundle, 6-1 Toronto. Wayne Primo and Kevin McGuire with a pair each to spur the Toronto attack as Cujo flashes his old cowhide crab and holds that one in. 45 seconds gone in the second.
Nice save there by Curtis Joseph. What an excellent opportunity. And like you mentioned before, he's just been playing phenomenal throughout his tenure with the Toronto Maple Leafs through 99 and 02, and then again in 2008 and 2009.
Caps, John Cole trying to work one in front. There was Gary Lehman who hauled that out of there. Lehman, of course, known for his prowess, an offensive juggernaut for many teams that he played for, in particular Toronto and Montreal. Wendell Clark said that Gary Lehman was one of the most skilled players that he ever played with. It's quite a statement coming from number 17.
He's just been phenomenal.
Yes,
and he's just one of those players that you can really look up to as a young fan, and it's been phenomenal just watching him play, and I just love his work, to say the least.
Here's a feed in front, and that puck never got there as John Call was poised for it. And now it's going to come to Ricky Vive, and he's trying to send, I think, Christian Hansen in, and a good stop there by Scotty Bray. We got that Christian Hansen's got a head full of hair, and he's the only one that I can really differentiate from the other two wearing 18. Kevin McGuire with a 3.9. Wayne Primo having a big night as well.
Christian Hansen turning on the Jets there for the first time in a while. Look, he's going to do it here again.
Yeah, but this is Primo this time, and a centering pass for Christian Hansen. Back of the slot, and Mags had a chance for the hat trick. But Scotty Bray made the stop.
3 number 18s out on the ice in that shift.
Pretty wild.
They're all setting up each other out there, too, which is even better.
You could say it's 18 over to 18. Back to 18. Primo, McGuire, and Hansen.
Glad we're not just calling numbers here.
Here's Ally Afraidy. That was intercepted. Breakaway. Oh, big defensive play by Afraidy there. Squires almost got free. Into the corner for McDonald. Load in front, and the Caps are on the board. There's Cody Squires. He waited Cujo load, and he tucked it by him at the 2:24 mark of the second period. And the St. John's Capitals have got their second goal. Cody Squires beating Joseph to cut the differential to 4.
Curtis Joseph out there, and he let one out through the wickets as he wouldn't even get down on his knees for that one.
Well, you really can't blame him. Nobody wants to be down trying to scramble up. Might be okay for youngsters who are spry. But Cujo's in great shape still. But he says he doesn't play as much goal as he used to, but boy, he's looking like he hasn't missed a beat. Now the Caps are coming hard. They could eventually have a 2-on-1 here. But that play got mopped, and Joseph stood tall as St. John's had what looked like it was going to shape up to be a 3-on-1. But that kind of went askew. And now Toronto will bounce it up the boards, and heading after it was Christian Hansen. That didn't work, and now Robert Barrett steps inside the zone. It was intercepted by Kevin McGuire, who feeds Wayne Primo. And the 18 line is out there, and now Darcy Tucker will join the fray. Tucker slides it in now for Christian Hansen. He tried to wheel a pass out in front. It was intercepted. And the Caps come back, shaping up to 3-on-2. But now it's going to be Barrett cycling out in front. He was looking there for Jeremy Barrett. There's one of the two St. John's goals in this game tonight. Barrett with a steal out in front, and the Caps have scored again to make it a 6-3 hockey game. And Barrett centering the puck out in front. No mistake made. And Cujo is beaten here at the 3:34 mark of this second period. And it's a 3-goal differential. Toronto with a 6-3 lead. That was Justin O'Reilly who finished off that lovely pass.
Two
from
unanswered
Jeremy
goals
Barrett.
there.
There you go.
The Maple Leafs give up 2 more.
Well, I had a gut feeling that they can turn it on when they want to, and I think St. John's can as well. A feeling out process in the first 20 minutes. Now a chance for St. John's again, and they try to work the puck in front. Joseph made that save, and here is Harold Druken going for a bit of a spin. Drukes a little chunkier than the last time I ran into him, but he's still a beauty. And Druken will slowly move up ice, but he turned that thing over, and Barron gets a chance. Going at cross ice, back to our feet, intercepted. And Dave Reed will lead a Toronto attack up ice. Here comes Steve Thomas hitting the St. John's line. Thomas going it in for Reed. Reed with a shot. That's well off the mark. Gary Lehman corralling the puck at the point. Throwing it in behind the goal. That escaped the stick of Mike Druken. And the Caps try to wheel out. Pender will hit the Toronto line. O'Reilly the trailer. Pender tried to slide it in front. Reed was there, but a good defensive posture one more time. And Gary Lehman back for support. You see where this is going with the forwards. They're all getting a crack at playing defense because they only have one defenseman in tow, and that's big Al Iafredi.
It's hard to
33.
play. It's hard to play the one defenseman over and over again.
Chile cross-ice feed. Cujo with another outstanding save. As the Caps were bearing down, looking to cut the differential to 2. And we're going to get a timeout here from Mile 1 Center, where the St. John's Capitals have come roaring out here in the second period and have cut the lead in half. 6-1 after 20, now 6-3.
2 unanswered goals there by the St. John's Caps. And I'd like to remind you to be sure to tune in for our Outlet 5 special as the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni with special host, Jason Piercy, as he'll be on Tuesday at 7:30. Also available on our Outlet 5 Facebook page, where you can drop a like there. And Jason, I was talking to him over in the first intermission, and he's just been absolutely stoked about this game, as we've had a lot of goals, 6 of them coming in through the first period for the Maple Leafs, as they're honoring Darcy Tucker out there now, as he had an absolutely fantastic career. And he, like I mentioned before in the opening stages of this game, over 1,400 penalty minutes. And what a player he was. He oftentimes, he sat more time in the penalty box than he did out on the ice a lot of nights. Who can remember his famous fight with the New York Islanders fans, where he decided to give them a little bit of water?
Oh, geez. Oh, Darcy beauty. No doubt about it.
Talking to him out in the concourse with the Rogers TV, or the Rogers rather, special VIP access. And he's a big man. And he's a tough customer, and I don't think I would want to be hit by him into the boards. He had a huge one on Sammy Kapanen in the playoffs against Philadelphia. And that's the one worth YouTubing out there.
You talking about Darcy Tucker?
Yes.
Being huge? Well, he waves to the crowd and acknowledges. Darcy always seemed to me to be more diminutive. That's only my read on him, but if you were standing next to him, I was too, but I didn't realize. I guess it's just something I'm not looking for. When you do an interview, you're trying to get the best possible answers, so we'll find out if it works in our second intermission. We'll hear from Rick Five, Darcy Tucker, and Curtis Joseph. Back to the action here in this Toronto Maple Leafs alumni game on a Friday night from Mile 1 Center in downtown St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. And a good Friday evening and happy St. Paddy's Day weekend. All you folks tuned in on Rogers TV and Eastlink across Newfoundland and Labrador. Nick Antropov looking to dangle. And the pterodactyl-like Kazakh can't make it happen as the Caps roar back inside the zone. A hard wrister snapped off the shoulder of Curtis Joseph off the stick of Steve Tilley. Former junior and senior star across Newfoundland and Labrador. Play settling down somewhat here as Dakota Warren takes a feed. He'll bounce a shot into Cujo. He's not going to take any chances with John Ryan parked on the doorstep. We have played 6 minutes and 46 seconds. Or 5:46. Pardon me, and it's a 6-3 Toronto lead.
Like they're starting to get a little rubbery out there. They're starting to look like a package of Mr. Noodles out on the ice. But nonetheless, it's been absolutely phenomenal hockey as we see 9 goals through this 20 minutes. And that's absolutely fantastic. They would love to get some of these in the playoffs back when a lot of these Toronto Maple Leafs and St. John's Maple Leafs played. But nonetheless, we got 9 here tonight, and it's been phenomenal for as a fan perspective, and a lot of these players are having an absolute blast.
Well, you can tell they're having fun, and that's what it's all about. 6-3 Toronto, Wayne Primo and Kevin McGuire leading the attack with 2-goal performances. And here's Primo stepping inside the zone with a wrister. Scotty Bray to his knees will squeeze the puck. That might be the first or second shot that Bray's faced here in this middle stanza.
He hasn't gotten a lot of rubber on net, but he did in the first period. He gave up 6 goals there, but the defense of the St. John's Caps is really starting to tighten up.
They've tightened it right up, yeah.
As they got 8 defensemen out there that they've been swapping through, and they've just been playing phenomenal on the defensive end of things, and again on the offensive side where they've scored 2 unanswered goals.
And they give a chance here as Squires is robbed point blank by Curtis Joseph on a turnover. Now here's a feed from Kevin McGuire over to Harold Druken. Druken looking for help in through the middle. Feed across here from McGuire. Backdoor feed, hit a skate, almost got to Wayne Primo. Now it's intercepted by Cody Squires, and a pass is redirected back. Dave Reed for Gary Lehman taking a shift back on the blue line. A long feed up ice. No icing here, fellas. That's it. Teddy and Mike waving that off. Keep the flow of the game going. We played exactly 7 minutes here in the second. The Caps have scored a pair off the sticks of Justin O'Reilly and Cody Squires to cut the Toronto lead in half. 6-3 for the Alumni, and a feed into Leaf territory. Steve Thomas back defensively. Stutter step, nice move in front, draws the adulation of a few fans who obviously appreciate that move by Stumpy. Then in the middle, Zigomanis' shot. He wired it wide, trying to go top shelf over the blocker is Scotty Bray. Now a chance here for John Call. Call stepping in. Call holding, throwing it back door. They try to one-timer over there. Mark Rideout trying to make contact with that, but he couldn't get much of a shot, and that was foiled. 6-3 Leafs. Call with an nifty move, stepping inside Toronto territory, avoids a hook from Tucker. He's going to dish it off into the corner. And jumping after the puck goes Matt Fewer. Fewer ridden under the play by Ally Free. Good stop at the blue line there. It's kept in by defenseman Brandon Koplik. Showed about Pearl. And Curtis Joseph again will hold on for a face-off. Cujo's put up a good performance here tonight. Zach Powers, he made some dandy stops when he's been called upon.
That one there through the screen. Curtis Joseph moving side to side with his head, trying to get down into a lower position. And I know once you get to a certain age, you can only go so low sometimes. But he made an excellent stop there as it got tipped out in front by 2 or 3 bodies to make the save.
That's what I was saying earlier, Zach, about Cujo not wanting to spend too much time on his knees. It's the part of it getting back up off him, which is tough when you get up there in age. Let me tell you. Just in life in general, for goodness sakes. Now a feed here to Zigomanis stepping inside the St. John zone. Zigomanis dropping it back for shooter Vibe, but Rick never got the pass. Vibe is one of the Toronto goals. Darcy Tucker has his single. And it's been Wayne Primo and Kevin McGuire, a pair of 18s, who have led the attack. McGuire's got a helper as well, although they're not, I don't think, counting assists in this hockey game. In our second intermission, Ricky Vive, Darcy Tucker, and Curtis Joseph were interviewed by yours truly during the Rogers meet and greet.
Also
prior
the
to game
shootout
time.
there too. I think
Yes,
there's
and
gonna
Yobi
be-
and Zach Power will call the shootout here in the second intermission. We'll pick that up live after we run our three interviews. Mike Fisher in control back at Rogers TV on Kenmount Road. Caps down only by 3 as Nick Pankropop gobbles the puck up. He's got Zigamanis, takes the pass, great save. Scott Bray and Kyle Downer now getting halfway in, makes the stop. Now, my bad, sorry about that. I didn't see the switch, so I apologize. But you knew they were going to play halfway, so Downer is now between the pipes. Scotty Bray's night is over. He did an admirable job, and now it will be Downer the rest of the way.
So I want to talk a little bit about the work of Nick Andropov, who actually played a bit of time here in the St. John's Maple Leafs, and I know Brian has seen a lot of Nick Andropov, called him the pterodactyl earlier on into this game. He's a native of Kazakhstan, which you don't often see, and he's been around these world championships. He's been around everything, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Every now and then you'll get blessed with the opportunity to see international ice hockey as it all comes together, and you'll see Nick Andropov coming from Kazakhstan, where they're experimenting with the KHL. It's been very difficult for them, and I know Fedorov over there has really led the charge over there for the KHL and through the Kazakhstan area, as the KHL is just absolutely growing over there. And Nick Andropov, who's native of Kazakhstan, can often relate to a lot of these Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who had to go and leave for these to get a chance into the NHL. And Nick Andropov got his chance as he played a lot with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and a lot of fans will remember him for his time and through the Maple Leafs organization, the St. John's Maple Leafs. And speaking of those, we'll have more on them tomorrow, 7:30 from the Glaciers. We'll see the Midget AAA Finals, game number 4 and game number 5 there on Sunday at 10 a.m. I will have the call. We'll be cross island and coast to coast in the Newfoundland area, and also around the world at www.rogerstv.com, where you can check it out there. And our YouTube channel will have that live stream, so you can view that there, and it'll be a fun game to see tomorrow night and Sunday morning.
So you said there's game 3 is tonight as we speak?
Game 3 is going on right now as we speak. The series is tied 1-1.
1-1. So that's game 3, Western Kings and the St. John's Maple Leafs. That's in the Ghouls, is it not?
I believe that one's in Mount Pearl.
Or it's at the Glacier as well. So game 3 tonight, game 4 tomorrow night, game 5 on Sunday morning at 10. So you'll have the call of those last two in Rogers TV.
We'll all be there on the YouTube channel, our website, and of course on channel number 9.
Zach Power all over it. For you hockey fans across Newfoundland and Labrador. Meanwhile, back here at the Bob Cole Media Center at Mile 1 on the St. Paddy's Day weekend, I'm Brian Rogers along with the aforementioned Zach Power. I hope you're enjoying the action on Rogers and Eastlink TV across Newfoundland and Labrador. Presentation of Scotiabank. You're richer than you think, and of course, Rogers TV. 6-3 Toronto Maple Leafs alumni leading on the strength of a pair from Wayne Primo and Kevin McGuire. Ricky Vive and Darcy Tucker with singles for Toronto. Justin O'Reilly, Jeremy Barron, and Cody Squires have replied for the St. John's Senior Caps. Go to the East Coast Senior Hockey League, the new founded league, of course, after the demise of the Avalon East. And the best of 7 final will begin in earnest Sunday night in Mobile at the Southern Shore Arena when the Southern Shore Breakers host the St. John's Capitals in game 1 at 8 o'clock.
A lot of big things coming through that league too, with the Herder upcoming and all these East Coast hockey leagues coming up. It's very fascinating hockey.
This time of the year, there's still die-hard fans out there in the St. John's Junior Hockey League as well, nearing their finals. So we wish all the teams that are taking part, looking for supremacy and emblematic of their various leagues, all the best in their quest for a championship. 3.5 to go here, the second. 6-3 Toronto leading St. John's. Cujo with another stop This time off of Steve Tilley. Tilley looking for a loose puck in the slot, never got there. He'll come back to the point. Robert Inder tries his shot. It rolls in front of the goal. And the Caps looking for a gratuitous bounce, couldn't get one. So Steve Thomas will lead the Toronto attack up ice. That was negated there by John Ryan. Opportunity now as Tilley steps inside the zone. Threw it across and they score. What a lovely setup. And the Caps are right back in it here. It's now 6-4 and that goal coming at the 12:01 mark here in the second period. And that's 3 consecutive unanswered tallies for the senior Caps.
A long reach of the stick there. I think that's Tilley getting the goal, is it?
I thought it was John. Was it not John Ryan?
I think it is actually John Ryan now.
Well, Steve Tilley set it up. That was a beautiful read, and I'm pretty sure Ryan tucked it home. And there you have it.
John Ryan with that long reach in the stick to get that one past Cujo.
So 6-4 hockey game, and the Leafs now on the attack, and this is Hansen for Stevie Thomas, but he couldn't make that happen, and now an outlet feed, and St. John's finding their legs, and here they come again. Roaring inside the zone, looking to set this one up here in front. Cujo to gobble up the loose puck as St. John's tried desperately to claw to within one. 2:24 to the second intermission. And you'll see the likes of Ricky Vine, Darcy Tucker, and Curtis Joseph, and then Zach will call the shootout here between these two hockey clubs. It's going to be a lot of fun in our second intermission here on Rogers and Eastling. Happy St. Paddy's Day weekend.
A lot of these players haven't had much of an opportunity to play in a shootout, because a lot of the shootout rule came in the 06 season. So it's going to be fun to see a lot of these old-timers.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I think that the Leafs alumni gets involved in a lot of shootouts in the various towns they go to. I think they do it just the fans enjoy it, right? So if you're old school, you want to see the game over in overtime, obviously, or even end in a tie as it used to way back when. But that was when the world was a whole different place to reside in. And now here comes Christian Hansen. Feed across from Wayne Primo looking for Ricky Vine. That was intercepted. A long outlet feed here. Intended for John Call. Curtis Joseph out of the net. Will play it for Gary Lehman. Minute and a half to go here in the second period. 6-4 hockey game should set it up rather interestingly for the shootout and then the third period. Zigamanis to the outside. Vine heading toward the goal. Here's a drop pass. Kevin McGuire back for Zigamanis. Zigging and zagging around. Knew I had to throw that out there as cheesy as it is. Here's Dave Reed feeding one there for Vine, who tried to redirect it past Kyle Donner. And that didn't work. And now St. John's will settle it down. They'll peek up and see there's only a minute remaining here in the second period of play, but they've cut this lead to 2. They were down 6-1 after 20 minutes and have scored 3 unanswered goals here in the second period. Here's Antropov, lets it fly, Downer the save, and then Kyle with another beautiful stop there. Zigamanis, Iafredi is stoned. Now Iafredi with 41.4 seconds left is absolutely robbed by Kyle Downer, slamming the door for the St. John's Caps.
Downer earning the trust throughout the second half of this hockey game, and he come in and has absolutely stole the show and hasn't let up a goal yet into this second frame. As he's in number 33 there, the wicked old red, black, and white pads.
Here's an opportunity, and that one hit the goalpost. Harold Drugan on a feed from Nick Antropov. And my buddy I call the Wolverine is camped in behind the goal. The pot is Shea Hines trying to work it out in front. 3 years since Brooks has been on the skates, and he's looking pretty good. Tonight he has an assist, although I don't think they're counting points, but he certainly made a lovely play to set up a goal by Darcy Tucker. Now it's fed off the boards, but stays inside the St. John zone as Toronto tries to add to their total, but it's not going to happen. This is how it will shape up after 40 minutes of play from R1 Center on a Friday night, part of the St. Paddy's Day weekend. The Toronto Maple Leafs alumni 6, the St. John's Capitals 4. And great goaltending has been the story of this game so far tonight here. Curtis Joseph looking great. Scotty Bray made some timely saves before his tenure ended here tonight for giving up 6. Kyle Downer's come in and basically slammed the door on the, halfway through, and so did Scott in the second period of play. Interesting stuff. Let's send things back to the Rogers Studios on Kenmount Road. Mike Fisher's at the helm tonight, and we hope you'll enjoy 3 interviews that I conducted earlier this evening during the Rogers meet and greet in the concourse at Caps Club here at Pub, that should be, and I'm not drinking, at Mile 1 Center. Of water, H2O is all those old guys get in for the time being. Maybe a post-game pop would be nice, but we'll see what happens. Let's send it back to the Rogers Studios in our second intermission. 6-4 Toronto through 2 periods of play.
Hockey fans, everybody knows the pride of Charlottetown PEI. Rick Vibe, a former Toronto Maple Leaf, now with the Alumni and Viber. Good to see you back. Ironically, Rick, the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs were here in St. John's was during 9/11 in 2001. So I'm sure there's members of this group that are playing here tonight that remember that time fondly. Having said that, you're back in St. John's, and you spent a lot of time here in your days.
Yeah, I did. Growing up in Charlottetown, I mean, we were over here playing minor hockey games and tournaments and stuff like that, and then, of course, coaching the St. John Flames, play over here against the Maple Leafs, a number of times over the 2 years I was there, and that was in the old barn. So, and that was a lot of fun. That was a little crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
We had some great times. I say the Flames and the Maple Leafs, the wars that we used to have. And Fiverr and I used to get into it a little bit too over the broadcast, but then later we hooked up and became broadcast partners along with Brendan McCarthy when the St. John's Maple Leafs played the Providence Bruins in that qualifying series back in 2002, I believe it was.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of fun doing it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things, you get to meet people, and that's a wonderful thing about hockey is you meet a lot of great people over the years, regardless of what league you're in or what city you're playing in or coaching in or doing television or radio in, and you just meet great people and you get to know them, and you know them for the rest of your life, and every time you see them, it's like you've been together for every day for the last 6 months.
Yeah, no doubt, Rick. Wonderful to see you, Rick, outside of being at the bottom line. Wayne Callie's great bar on Front Street, buddy. You know it, Shaq, and we spent many a good time talking hockey and having a couple cold ones at Callie's place, did we not?
Oh, we absolutely did. It was, you know what, that's a great thing is we can sit down and we can talk a lot. A lot of it isn't really about hockey. There's stories that are related to hockey, but
True enough.
But anyway, they're good stories.
Ricky, thanks for joining us. Enjoy this abbreviated trip into St. John's.
Yeah.
I know you got another game back in Ontario tomorrow with the Alumni, and of course a trivia question. The only Maple Leaf to score 50 goals more than once, correct?
Correct. 3 years in a row, and of course the first. Gary Lehman did it after I did, and then Dave Anderchuk after that. But they weren't able to do it more than once, so I'm pretty proud of that.
You should be. Ricky Vibe of the Toronto Maple Leafs Alumni here playing the St. John's Capitals tonight at Mile 1 Center. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs Alumni are back in St. John's, and of course the Baby Leafs were here for 14 years, and Darcy Tucker was here too. He was actually in St. John's as a member of the Fredericton Canadians way back in the early 90s before turning pro. You got some fond memories of this city.
I got some really fun memories. Obviously, playing with the Freddie Beach Canadians was a lot of fun. At that time, and coming in to play the Baby Leafs here at St. John's, it was always a good trip. We always enjoyed ourselves. But it's special. Anytime we get out this way, the fans are amazing here. Whether they be Leafs fans or all kinds of NHL fans, their pride shows through. That's for sure.
Darcy, you've done a great job being part of this Alumni. I know you're front and center. You're busy. You guys are bouncing all over the place, playing lots of games. It must be very gratifying to go out and see all those diehard fans, whether they cheered for you as a Hab or cheered for you as a Leaf, come out and watch you play.
Absolutely. I think our Maple Leafs fans travel very well. No matter where we play, whether it's across Canada, out east, here out west, we have many fans that are fans of the Maple Leafs. So we're pretty proud of how well we travel across Canada.
Yeah, good stuff. And Darcy, come full circle when you think the news is out now that the city of St. John's, Mile 1 Center, will be the home to a brand new ECHL franchise beginning this fall. So they've had the Baby Leafs here 14 years, and they had Winnipeg and Montreal's Farm Club. Now Toronto. It's almost like they come full circle again.
Yeah, it's amazing that they're going to get an opportunity for a team at that level. You know, I think anytime you have a building like this, it's you want to have people in it and you want to have it packed. So to get that opportunity to have a team back here is probably really good for the city, and I can imagine that the fans will come out and support the team.
And as we speak, Decon Sports and Entertainment, who own the team, are currently in negotiations with none other than the Toronto Maple Leafs to be the ECHL affiliate. That's pretty special, and there's a lot of Leaf fans here, Darcy.
Well, that'd be quite the thing, wouldn't it? Yeah, obviously, I don't know too much about what is going on from that standpoint, but having another Leafs franchise here would be great.
Darcy, the last one, it's from a personal point of view. Are you going to miss running that TR tonight? Because Terry Ryan's over in Scotland doing Frontier, I guess, editions with Jason Bumbo. So he was in that lineup for St. John's. I thought you might have his number going into tonight's game.
Well, I think he got the Tucker flu. He had to fly out of town and get away from me. So it's worked out well for him. I'm going to miss him, though. It's always good when I come to town. I get to see him. And sometimes you run into Senior and the family. So it's always good to see them. They're great people. Got very fond memories of playing with Terry and always keep in touch with him.
Darcy, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us on our broadcast, sponsored by Rogers and Scotiabank. And good luck and keep up the great work with the Leaf alumni.
Appreciate it. Great seeing you again.
Darcy Tucker, number 16, of course, number 1 in your hearts. Well, no stranger to Newfoundland and Labrador, to Toronto or St. John's Maple Leafs fans, or Maple Leafs of any size, shape, or color. Curtis Joseph, the pride of Keswick, Ontario. Cujo, good to see you again, man. You're holding up well. You're looking as immaculate and handsome and sturdy as ever a goaltender could want to be.
Well, wait till you see me out there. I'm not as good. No, I feel good, but I haven't played much. I'm just hoping I get through this game without embarrassing my family.
Yeah, well, you got quite the group in front of you, Curtis.
Oh,
yeah. I'm sure you got some guys that like to play a lot of offense, maybe not much D. And I'm not counting on seeing Harold Druk and a Ricky Vive coming back anytime soon.
That's what I'm worried about, who I'm going to see in my own end. So we got Al Iafrate, one defenseman. So Al's going to log a lot of minutes, but great bunch of guys. We're looking forward to playing, and it's a good place to play. The fans are very gracious and very supportive, so happy to do it.
It's great to see you again, Curtis. I hate bringing up old times and bad times, but the last time that you were here in this building, along with Darcy Tucker, Nick Antropop, was part of the Toronto Maple Leafs during the tragedy of 9/11, and that was an eye-opener for everybody worldwide, and in particular your group, who had to pretty well postpone training camp, but then found your way here for 3 days.
Yeah.
Can you recall those memories?
Yeah, it was shocking for everybody and very tragic events that happened. It changed the way we travel. It changed the world, really. So I do remember coming here for 3 days, and it was pretty somber, but you know, entertainment goes on, and I think we put on a good show for the fans, and remember this building well.
Absolutely, you certainly did. You guys were ambassadors, and you really did help the healing process here in Newfoundland and Labrador. So, Cujo, outside of traveling with the Leaf alumni, and I know you guys play a lot of games. Our former athletic therapist, Nick Addyjib, has been working a little bit with the NHL alumni. You guys are busy. It's almost like you're playing a full schedule here.
Yeah, I don't, but but whenever they call me, I'm available. So I play goal every once in a while. I play out, I think, in a couple games, but nobody wants to see me play out. But I'm playing in net tonight, and just hoping for the best.
Cujo, thanks so much. Curtis Joseph for joining us, and enjoy your brief stay here. And wonderful to be an ambassador for the Toronto Maple Leafs organization.
Thank you for having me.
Get set for, obviously, a shootout going to happen here from what we understand in our second intermission. 6-4 for the Leafs after 40 minutes of play. Zach, you're going to call the shootout. You're going to have the opportunity to do that in Rogers because you're an up-and-comer. You're going to be doing the high school hockey tomorrow. from the Glacier on Rogers and Eastlink tomorrow. No Eastlink tonight, just Rogers TV, but you will be on Eastlink across the province, obviously, tomorrow for games 4 and 5 of the Provincial Midget AAA Championship. Western Kings and the St. John's Maple Leafs tied at 1-1. They're playing Game 3 as we speak at the Glacier. That'll be on Rogers Replay tomorrow.
Yes,
maybe,
that will be on the replay. We'll be rebroadcasting that as we'll be seeing all that. There'll be game number 3, which is on right now, there on the Glacier rather. And then tomorrow we'll see game number 4 rather.
Which you'll call from the Glacier.
Yes, I'll be calling from the Glacier. That'll be on at 7:30 on Rogers TV.
And Eastlink tomorrow.
And Eastlink too.
Yeah.
As well, and also 10 a.m. Sunday morning that will be there, and we'll have an absolute blast as that. You can see that on www.rogerstv.com and the YouTube page. And Buddy the Puffin is out there now, and he's giving a little salute to the fans as he's wearing the St. John's Maple Leafs jersey.
Of course he is. That thing's as old as Buckley's goat, let alone being the Puffin, right? Just want to get a quick plug in for the East Coast Senior Hockey League Championship Final, which gets underway Sunday evening at the Southern Shore Arena in Mobile as the Southern Shore Breakers host these St. John's Caps in a best-of-7 affair. Game 1 will be Sunday night at 8 o'clock down the shore. Game 2 will be Wednesday, the 21st, at the Twin Rinks, beginning at 7 o'clock. Game 3 will be played at Twin Rinks on Saturday, March the 24th. And then Game 4 will be the following night, Sunday, March 25th, at the Southern Shore Arena in Mobile. So those are the first 4 games of the East Coast Senior Hockey League's inaugural season championship final. And it gets underway on Sunday evening in Mobile. So good luck to both the Southern Shore Breakers and the St. John's Capitals. That should be a heck of a series. They are the 2 top teams in the East Coast Senior Hockey League circuit this season.
I can't wait to watch that one because that one's going to be a very fascinating game. As all the favorites that are here tonight, Justin O'Reilly, Jeremy Barron, Robert Barrett, just to name a few, are all going to be out there rather. As we're going to see them, and they're going to be going against some of the best teams of the East Coast Hockey League and throughout Newfoundland. And like you said, there's going to be another fantastic thriller Sunday night, and I can't wait to view that one in person, as that one's going to be a real good one.
I hope you have a lot of fun and you enjoy it, and you're doing a great job here tonight. So that's setting the foundation for what should be a lengthy career. And I wish you well. And of course, it doesn't end there. On Rogers TV Channel 9, proud to bring you exciting coverage of the 2018 Beaumont-Hamel Centennial Cup from the Paradise Double Ice Complex in Paradise. During the week of April 9 to the 15th, all 39 games will be on Channel 9 as well as streamed online. It's the largest high school hockey tournament in Newfoundland and Labrador, and Rogers is excited to bring you all the action. That's the Beaumont-Hamel Centennial Cup, April 9 to the 15th on Rogers TV.
I can't wait to see that, because that's some of the best hockey players that we have in this province are all going to be showcased in one location. And I can't wait. I'll be having the call there for a few of those games.
You're doing all 39 games?
Oh, I won't be doing 39 games.
What a legend this kid's turning out to be. How about that?
I don't know about 39 games.
Good evening to all you viewers on Channel 9 here from the Bobco Media Center. 6-4 is the score in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni, who got a superb performance from the line of 18s. That's right, 3 players wearing jersey 18. The original 18 on the St. John's Maple Leafs was Kevin McGuire, who was known more for his fisticuffs and such, a hard-nosed player. But, geez, Max put on an offensive clinic in the first period. He scored 2 goals, had an assist as well, and he just had a hernia surgery back in December. He told me for the game he's not sure how many shifts he can actually play. He's playing a whale of a game here so far tonight. His line mate Wayne Primo, who's wearing 18 as well, because they forgot Wayne's jersey, has 2 goals. And the other member of that line, who was supposed to wear number 20, but they forgot Christian Hansen's jersey as well. He's wearing 18, and he's been in on the scoring as well. Rick 5 and Darcy Tucker with the singles, but it was all caps in the second period.
It was all caps, as we've seen 3 goals there as they climb back to a 6-4 hockey game, but they're still down by 2 goals. They'll still need another 2, but they managed to get 3 in that second period. Cody Squires scored at 2:24, and then at 3:36, the next marker is Justin O'Reilly, who's had an absolute whopper of a game out there. He's been playing fantastic,
Yep,
and I
sure
can't wait to
has.
see him in the third period. And again, John Ryan out there. He got the long stick out there to get that goal, and he just buried that one in past Cujo. He had 6 feet to net at, and he net to look at, and he scored on every bit of it at 12:01 in the second period. And he's just been playing fantastic, as opposed with all these players too, have just been playing phenomenal. The St. John's Caps, they really turned on the Jets throughout that third period to come away with a 2-goal deficit here in this third period as that approaches here with just under 2 minutes.
Well, I thought you were getting ready to call a shootout here, but I guess with the score of 6-4, they'll prepare for the third period. We may or may not see a shootout here tonight at Mile One Center between the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni and the St. John Senior Capital. I think the interesting thing for viewers in the third period will be to see how the legs, in particular of the hockey heroes from the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni, can they hold up in the third period here? Because you can see the Caps getting their legs in that second period when they scored the 3 unanswered goals. So I know it's a fun game, but I mean, let's face it, there are egos involved and there's pride to play for as well, although both teams are mingling beautifully and really enjoying themselves. But it should be an interesting third period here tonight from Mile One Center. Of course, we'll stay with you. And now we can have a look, and they're picking up some highlights too, so we're good to go, boy. Flying by the seat of our pants, but we're doing a heck of a job. Steve and George up with us here, and the boys are doing a great job. Carry on. As you get a look at a couple of highlights there too, and I mean, of the goals that you just described, we get a chance to see the Caps pour it on offensively in that second period.
They've just been fantastic.
Claw within a couple.
And here's a look at some of the Caps goals there. Is a beautiful centering pass out in front, and they're right on an excellent opportunity. And Cujo, who let up 3 goals in that second frame, he's just been playing phenomenal. But he let up 3 goals in that to Cody Squires, Justin O'Reilly, and John Ryan out there all for the St. John's Caps. We look at our replay system.
Kyle Downer on the other side of the ice, of course, coming in halfway through the second as he and Scotty Bray split the goaltending duties, and Downer was unbeatable. He looked terrific. He had 3 or 4 point-blank range shots that he had to steer down, as you'll probably see here as the replays continues. We get set for the return of the teams. This game tonight is being played in honor of the late Greg Bird Dog Smith, our beloved brother, a dear friend of mine. Still not over the passing of Greg. It was 3 weeks ago today that he succumbed to a 4-year battle with cancer at the tender age of 51. Rest in peace, Bird Dog. Beautiful man and sorely missed, and just a huge sentiment of love being, coming from every corner of the hockey world upon Greg's demise. He's in hockey heaven now with a lot of other wonderful people, but he'll be sorely missed here. And both teams playing this game here tonight, dedicated to the late Greg Bird Dog Smith, who I dearly loved. And he was a great friend, great comrade, former color commentator of mine on Leaf broadcasts. I had to really lean on him heavily to get him to put the headset on, but when Bird did, he put his heart and soul into it, and he did a great job for me for many nights of hockey here at Mile One Center. So rest in peace, the Bird Dog.
It's definitely enjoyable to hear him and watch him as he played along, and he'll definitely be missed. I'll tell you that is a sudden end to his.
Well, he gave it his all. I'll guarantee you that. He battled tremendously hard through it all, and he had tremendous support and love from family and friends, and as I said, the entire hockey world. So this game is dedicated to Bird here tonight.
I want to give credit to the highlight reel that was just put together, and Dave Simmons there back at the studios.
Davey's a wizard.
And he's a
whiz kid.
He's an absolute wizard up there at the replay system. I know I was up there for a night or two, and I know I could never reach his caliber, as he's been fantastic doing the replays for the Ice Caps and all of their affiliates, and the Confederation Cup. He did fantastic there, and he's just been doing an excellent job in there. He just put that highlight reel together, and I would like to send a special hello to him as he's up at the 541 Kim Mountain Road in the Rogers TV studios.
Well, you get those brownie points in, Zach. Brownie points are important, buddy.
Now, I don't think we're going to see a shootout, but we might see one towards the end of this hockey game.
Well, we're going to figure it out eventually. I guess that maybe there is a decision made and we're not privy to it, but nevertheless, we're having some fun here tonight. The entire Rogers crew of the Bobco Media Center. Kenny Murphy, Mike Shea, the referees, and we're getting set for the third period with the Toronto Maple Leaf Alumni leading the St. John's Senior Capitals by a score of 6-4.
Jason Piercy over there on the corner of your screen. And he's going to have a special out of the fog, and you can see his director Joe down there.
We're going to try something a little unorthodox. We're going to have a shootout.
All right, Zach, so you're going to get the call to shootout, kid.
As the shootout is going to get ready to go.
I'm going to sit back and take a breather and let you take charge of this, Zach Power.
Excited for this. We're going to see our assistant captain there, Gary Lehman. He's going to have it in number 11. And oh, no, the Caps are going to go first, actually, as that's Robert Barrett. He's going to come straight in on it. Here he is, and a nice glove save there by Curtis Joseph, standing tall in the crease. There is Cujo slamming the door. As now we're going to see, I think shooter Rick Vive is out there skating around. He looks like he wants to shoot, and the shootouts were adapted long after his time, but he's going to go after it here. Here comes Vive with a bit of speed. Rick Vive coming in and a score! It's Rick Vive as he gets the Leafs on the board for the shootout. A little celebration there at center ice too. Rick Vive last played his NHL season in 1991. 15 years later, they adopted the shootout rules in 06. And now here comes Barron for the Caps as he's moving on in, and a score. Great blocker side, rather, of Curtis Joseph at number 31. As we'll see here on a replay, he comes right in, nice deeks, and gets it right over Curtis Joseph. Wayne Primo, and the other 18, he's had a lot of goals here tonight, and he'll move on in, and that one just went wide of the goal there off the shot.
He was looking for the Hattie right there, and Primo wired it wide.
As the Maple Leafs have a 7-5 lead, as these goals will count towards their final tally. And John Ryan, he's got a marker tonight as he's going to try to go for two. Here he comes right through the middle, and a shot, and that one just rang off the post.
Tough break for Johnny Ryan there. That puck caught the middle, or down on the far corner of the goalpost.
That was a nice opportunity to score.
On the glove hand side.
And now here comes Darcy Tucker. He's 2 for 4 lifetime in the shootout as he'll move on in from center. Darcy Tucker slowly but steadily in on goal, fakes it. Oh, and it just couldn't be squeezed through as the goaltender there, Downer, making it a fantastic save. An opportunity for Darcy Tucker to come in. The fake, almost like we've seen Sidney Crosby against the Canadiens back in 06. As now we'll see the Caps moving on in. And there, sticking out the pad is Curtis Joseph on the Justin O'Reilly shot. As it's still 7-5 for the Maple Leafs Alumni. Nick Andropov is 4 for 17 in his lifetime, and as he moves on in, Nick Andropov shoots and scores! It's Andropov on the board, and it's now an 8-5 hockey game. Nick Andropov nails one over the glove. Downer, and now here comes the final shot for the Caps as they're going to move on in. Oh, and that one just went inside the post, and it's right through the goal crease, and that's into the net as it's an 8-6 hockey game now.
That was Mitch Flynn, who was a former St. John's AAA midget Maple Leaf.
Steve Thomas, Stumpy now moving in. Oh, oh, and the glove! Oh my goodness, right over the glove side there of Downer, the one-hander.
Stumpy, baby, with a beauty. One-handed.
Take a bow after that one, my goodness. Stumpy
Wow.
on the one-handed shot.
That was sweet. All righty, so great work, Zach Power, on the shootout on Rogers TV as the Leafs are able to score 3 times as opposed to the Caps 2, so it's a 3-goal differential as we begin period number 3. Well, I'm glad you got to call the shootout, Zach. You did a great job, my friend.
It's an absolute pleasure being alongside with you and calling the shootout. It's just been an absolute blast here, and this whole night has just been nothing but fun.
It's been a lot of fun. It's great to be back inside the confines of One Center. Hadn't been here since the final Ice Caps game of the playoffs, of course, closing in on a year ago. And so this should set up for an entertaining third period. And that was an unbelievable goal by Steve Thomas to give the Toronto Maple Leaf alumni the 3-goal cushion. By Thomas and Lehman. What do we got going here now? I thought we were getting ready to start the third period. No, I guess they're going to keep.
They want more shootout time, but now it's the captain.
That's Mike Gruken.
Oh, Gruken couldn't pass Curtis Joseph with the stand-up save there. Might get another opportunity to call the shootout.
Here comes Harold Gruken, the cousin Grukens. This is what this is. Let's see if Bruce can pull the trigger. Go ahead.
Moving on in. And that one went off the pad there of the goaltender, Kyle Downer. None of them could pull the trigger.
Drooks, you need more speed down there, boy. More speed.
So I think we're going to get to the third period of action now where you'll have the call.
Now we'll get to the third period. So the Druken cousins were foiled. Both Druken cousins were shut down here at Mile 1 on this Friday night, part of the St. Paddy's Day weekend.
Both Curtis Joseph and Kyle Downer slamming the door there in the shootout. Surprise shootout at that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Okie dokie, third period action underway. Isaiah Frady sets it across for Darcy Tucker. Tucker looking about, hits Antropop. Nick Antropop inside the zone. A feed to Ricky Vibe, and he wired it high and hard and wide of the goal. Now it'll be McDonald setting his teammate in motion down the wing, and a shot right on, and Curtis Joseph made a fine save there on a rising shot as the Caps try to get themselves back in it. They were down 6-1 after the first period, scored 3 unanswered in the second. Now after the shootout, trailed by a score of 9-6. As the Caps go to work in their adversary's zone, they try to dish it around. A bit of Perry McDonald, Jeremy McDonald seeing some ice time on this shift as Thomas brings it up through the middle. Out there with Justin O'Reilly. Actually, that was Jeremy Barron out there. That was Perry McDonald, not Jeremy, that got some ice time thereabout. Here's a puck flipped up through the middle, and the Caps will try to get inside the zone. Dakota War with a shot. Cujo to his knees. Will squeeze it and hang on for a face-off.
I think they're still going to play here.
Yeah, proper thing. Keep it in motion. Here's Thomas, who scored that unbelievable shootout goal with a one-hand backhand flip, top shelf on Kyle Downer, now heading to the bench, whose legs get a little heavier, I would suspect.
What a fantastic goal, too.
That was beautiful. That's what pure goal scorers do. Now a long outlet feed. They try to spring Wayne. Primo needs one more for the Hattie. So does Kevin McGuire, who's out there. No, he's not. No, Mike's taking a shift off. We get a whistle here, a collision between Dave Reed, Curtis Joseph, and one of the Cap players. And that's the first real stoppage in play we've had all night. So the flow's been pretty doggone good for this exhibition fun night, part of the St. Paddy's Day weekend.
It's been fun to see, and the referees have been letting a little things go, and that's been fantastic
They're
to
having
see.
a blast.
And all the players are having fun, and the net goes off its moorings. You don't see that too much anymore, and a lot of these players can contest as they changed the way that these nets have been placed into the ice. A lot stronger pegs now, and definitely a big difference since the mid-90s when a lot of these players played.
So after a brief stoppage in play, here's Dave Reed trying to negotiate a feed, but it's cut down, and Steve Kelly moves back in. Cross-ice feed intercepted by Gary Lehman. It's Fine work there. And now a long outlet pass for the speedy Mike Zigomanis. He'll set it across for Primo. Cutting it in. There's the hat trick for Wade Primo. It's 10-6 St. John's. AHL affiliate parent NHL club from Toronto. And it was only a matter of time before I watched it. I knew I was going to do it, and I got it over with.
Wade Primo with the goal there. As
that's his hat trick.
Instant replay. I was hoping to see a hat fly onto the ice here, but nonetheless, he gets his third of the night.
So Primo with the hat trick, and now they're gonna, if they figure it out here, they set up Kevin McGuire for a hattie. He'll be one of Megs' biggest offensive outbursts. I'm not gonna say in his career, but in a long time. General contractor now in the Toronto area, so he's not playing a whole lot. But one of the original Baby Leafs, along with Todd Gillingham and a cast of many others in 91-92, a team that almost won the Calder Cup, succumbing to the Adirondack Red Wings. Game 7 at Memorial Stadium.
Hard-fought series
It was a hard-fought series. No team won a game on home ice. Unbelievable. That was a long, long time ago. 20 years had come and gone to the AHL, and now the arrival of the ECHL this fall here at Bowen Center should be outstanding. Back to the live action on this Friday night here from the Bob Cole Media Center. Paddy's Day weekend. I'm sure many are well underway.
Might see a little after party downtown following some of these games. We'll remind you to drive safe and please don't drink and drive.
Please don't drink and drive. Don't be foolish.
I know I'll have to drive home tonight, and
it's all right. Have a bed when you get home. You got games to call tomorrow. You can't get on the beer. You leave that to me now. I'll go home, put my feet up now, and maybe have a couple frosty beverage. I don't have games to call tomorrow. You do. So you need to take your Wheaties and your Flintstones, get your vitamins, and get a good night's rest. All right? Straight to bed. No beer. Here's a feed in front intended for Ricky Vibe, and he couldn't make it connect. And we're down to inside. 11 minutes left here in the third. John Cole centering pass, so that's drifted wide there off the stick. Defenseman Brandon Kalflish. Cabby, as they call him. There's Kevin McGuire. Little dangled across and a pass here for Harold Druken playing defense. Holy cow. I told Drooks, I said, I don't expect to see you back checking much. And now Drooks going to try to foray up ice. Little feed here for Ricky Vibe. Vibe waiting for company. Now Vibe's going to feather one across here for Ally of Frady. A feed for Nick Antropov. Darcy Tucker was parked out front. There's the big pterodactyl. Antropov back to the point. Eye of Frady. Cross ice pass. They tried to set up Vibe there. That was Darcy Tucker. And the puck comes sliding slowly back into Toronto territory. In on the forecheck, Mark Rideout. Long feet up ice. Here's Steve Thomas with Nick Antropov. A nice glove hand save by Kyle Downer with Antropov in his grill one more time. And he'll hang on, and we'll get a face-off in St. John's territory with 9:51 to go here in the third. Toronto 10. And St. John 6.
As they're going to take a quick little timeout. The fans are actually getting really pumped up here throughout the Mile 1 Center as they're giving out T-shirts. And Buddy the Puffin, I know he's been around. As I hope you'll be around tomorrow night. As Brian mentioned, I'll be calling the game at 7:30 live from the Glacier in Mount Pearl. And again, 10 a.m. Sunday morning as we'll see the Maple Leafs. The St. John's Minor Maple Leafs, that is. They'll be squaring off against the Western Kings in Game 4, and Game number 5 is on Sunday. As a lot of them will hope to get to a stage like this where they can play an alumni game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know it's in the visions of a lot of young fans out there, and they would love to be a part of this alumni squad. And while you also throughout the week, we'll be airing Jason Piercy's rendition of Out of the Fog as he'll be there, and the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni special with host Jason Piercy, that is, on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Also available live on the Out of the Fog Facebook account and at www.rogerstv.com, as you can catch lots more information about our shows, and you can watch previous shows and connect with us on Twitter, on Rogers TV St. John's on that Twitter handle, and again on Instagram, as we're all there and we're social and we're all around the town. RogersTV.com, and of course, channel number 9.
Good stuff, Zach. It's set now for more action here between the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni and the St. John's Senior Capitals on this Friday evening. The Bobco Media Center, Mile 1. I'm Brian Rogers with Zach Power. Hope you're enjoying the action. Special shout out to all the elderly and the shut-ins and those who can't get out to get down to watch hockey at Mile 1 Center. Hope you're enjoying the action on Rogers. To all the children in the Janeway Hospital who might be tuned in tonight, God bless you all and get well soon.
A lot of these funds are going towards the Janeway Hospital too as well.
Perfect. That's right.
Fantastic
Caps.
to see.
And a nice crowd here tonight at Mile 1. Boy, really tell the allegiance to who most fans are fans of in the National Hockey League. And this is a Leaf town. You can tell it's a Toronto Maple Leaf town. St. John's Maple Leafs, 14 years. And of course, we really got to see how it all panned out in the last 2 seasons of the AHL with the Montreal Canadiens, where the AHL parent club to the AHL affiliate St. John's Ice Caps. Most nights the Toronto Marlies were in house. It was a divided house, or maybe even leaning in Toronto's favor. So
It'd be fun to see with the ECHL and their franchise as they're moving into the Mile 1 Center once again.
Well, Glenn Stanford and Dean McDonald, if you didn't see the first period interview that Glenn and I conducted this morning here, they're working with Toronto, become the ECHL affiliate, and that will bode well. But of course, the beauty of the new team is that it's locally owned and operated, and you know that Toronto will certainly try to assist in that area to make it a good competitive team. Ernest Joseph wants to play this puck, and he will, with Justin O'Reilly bearing down on him as the Caps try to find some offense. They've been shut down, and now here comes Steve Thomas. A clear-cut breakaway. Hit on Downer, and Thomas is robbed. Kyle Downer with a great goaltending stick save right there, and he gets a nice tap there from Christian Hansen, too, as Stubby tried to deke him and throw it upstairs, but Downer was there to answer the bell and slam the door.
Had to lay the stick down there, and what a fantastic save right at the goal line. And that instinct of laying down your stick on the goal line is fantastic there for Downer, as he's been playing phenomenal. But he's down by 4 goals here in this third period.
10-6 for Toronto. Feed inside the zone would have been an offside, so Mike Zigomanis with a good show of sportsmanship decided to play it right like you would. And Gary Lehman, who's primarily played on the back end most of the game, as the Leafs waltz into Cap territory. A feed back. Lehman wasn't even looking at that puck, and he still was able to gobble it up and hang on to it.
It's the awareness of these NHL players. They
Unbelievable.
still got it in them.
Still got it. Mike Zigomanis looking for a feed through the middle. That was deflected. It came off of Steve Tilley with Jeremy Barron, and now Zigomanis back for Nick Antropov. Poke checked up the line. Tilley was poke checked there by Wayne Primo, and now Tilley leads the attack back in. Fendered one through. Lovely setup there. Tilley, the playmaker, tried to set up his line mate to tuck that one home, but to no avail. Now Zigomanis with a shot. That was deflected. And the Caps will try to get it up ice, and here they come again. Trailing by 4 with 7:50 to go. Mitch Flynn scored a lovely shootout goal. Had a good shot there. And Ernest Joseph made the save. Caps try to penetrate and keep the puck alive in the Toronto zone to no avail. Now an opportunity here for Keith Primo's brother Wayne. Now for the shooter, Ricky Vibe, the Toronto alumni captain, number 22 from Charlottetown, PEI. Viber, good Spud Islander. Cross for Wayne Primo, who's led the Toronto attack with 3 of their 10 goals here tonight. Here's Ally Afraidy moving back after a loose puck. Caps will corral it there, trying to hang on to it and dump it in, and they do a good job there. Now we're going to get the first penalty of the hockey game. Is going to be called by Teddy Murphy.
Darcy Tucker in there.
And is it Darce or is it Ally Afraidy?
Darcy Tucker with the after push. A little get together.
It looks like Ally Afraidy to the sin bin. Now I think what he's saying is, listen, can I sit on our bench for 2 minutes? Or I think what Teddy will do, you know what they're going to do? They won't even sit him. They'll give the Caps a penalty shot.
Darcy Tucker spent a lot of time in that penalty box.
Yep. Cody Squires has already scored once. There's Darcy Tucker's stick that he'll avoid, and he's in again, and a beautiful goal by Cody Squires. Double zeros. That's his second of the night, making it a 10-7 hockey game. As Ally Afraidy's misdemeanor results in a penalty shot goal, and a lovely one by Cody Squires. Squires with a pair to lead the St. John's attack.
The 8-minute mark there, and the Caps are now 3 goals down now with 7 minutes left to play.
10-7 and a highly entertaining Friday evening tilt here at Mile 1 Center. Brian Rogers, Zach Power, and Rogers TV. Shot Cujo with a save there. As pitcher tried to dent the twine with Jacob Pitcher, number 25. Wraparound attempt of the Caps to no avail. And here they come, led by the speedy Wayne Primo, who's led Toronto's attack with a hat trick here tonight. Now for Darcy Tucker, across for Ally Afraidy. Sliding it into the corner. Harold Druken up there upending his man. I don't think he meant to do that by any stretch of imagination. Drooks couldn't get out of the kid's way. Now Druken trying for a redirect there on a deflection, and he'll go hard to the puck and set it up for Primo. Boy, Drooks is playing well for somebody who has been on skates in 3 years, or at least in a game.
Riding off that
But
emotion
he may need a cab to get to the bench, but attaboy, Drooks. Have a go, buddy. Here are the Caps, meanwhile, with a shot right on there. Fine save on a low string blast from Ryan Walsh. And now a feed here for Christian Hansen. Ended for Nick Antropop. That was taken away by Brandon Kolplish, a.k.a. Cabby, according to head coach Wally Bray. And St. John's will skate up ice with 5:35 to go, trailing by 3, 10-7. Toronto Maple Leafs Alumni, they almost put a puck in their own net. It was almost inadvertently redirected into the Toronto goal.
Someone just whistled wide of the post there.
Didn't it?
Great opportunity.
It's almost an own goal. Here's Nick Antropop slowing the pace down somewhat. Antropop with those big long legs aren't probably too rubbery as opposed to others. Dave Reed looking to set up Antropop on the doorstep, and Downer with another fine save, and he's got Nicky Antropop's number. It's at least, what, 3 saves he's made off the big Kazakh?
Antropop, last playing his last NHL game in 2013, probably one of the freshest around here.
Steve Thomas, point blank range, good stick there in the shooting zone lane. Thomas, and it's up off the protective mesh. We haven't seen many pucks off the protective mesh here this evening. Timeout now for one final fling, I would suspect, for T-shirts and the 50-50 draw, which the St. John's Capitals will give half toward the Janeway Children's Hospital. Our tip of the hat to Wally Bray's senior Caps for that lovely, and it's $4,000 or so that's big money.
I want to give a little shout out to our old St. John's Baby Leafs out there who played a lot of games. Nick Antropov scored 35 points through 2 seasons. Harold Druken was out there, scored 92 through 3. Kevin McGuire out there, he scored 26 out through his one and only season for the Maple Leafs. But nonetheless, they came through this St. John's ice, and it's just been absolutely fantastic to see all these guys around here.
No doubt. Well, Drooks was a big-time sniper when he played for St. John's. He scored a lot of huge goals for the Baby Leafs, no question about that. Having a bit of fun with them on the ice tonight, but we're good pals. We go way, way back, and it's just absolutely wonderful to finally see Harold, because he had moved to Cornerbrook for work purposes, and I hadn't run into him now in 3 years until tonight. And he spotted this aging broadcaster, the main foyer, or the Gate 5 here at Mile 1 Center, and there he was. In all his splendor. He got a helper here tonight, and he had a pretty good chance down there. But
he's had a fantastic game here.
It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks to Mike Fisher and the crew at Rogers for this opportunity to strap the headset on again and come back down to the Bobco Media Center, and hopefully there'll be more opportunities in the future.
It's been absolutely fantastic game, and it's just been a blast here. We've seen 17 goals through these 3 periods in a 10-7 game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this period alone, we've seen Wayne Primo and Cody Squires both scoring. Cody Squires getting that marker at the 8-minute mark, and Wayne Primo scoring once again for the Hattie at 2:13 of this 3rd period in the 18 line.
The 18 line, yep, 3:18. That is funny. But they played well. They've been real good when they've been out there together.
I know for next time we'll have a little checklist. Okay, I got my toothbrush and I got my deodorant. Oh, my jersey this time.
Well, you know, these guys play a lot of games too, so stuff could go amiss there, but it's just kind of funny the way it turned out. But I'm sure a lot of these guys have got to get out of here early tomorrow morning on St. Paddy's Day weekend. I'm sure most of them would like to stay and take in the frolicking times down on George Street in downtown St. John's, one of the biggest party towns in North America, especially during St. Paddy's Day, but a number of them have early rises.
I believe
flights out of here because they got games tomorrow night.
A lot of them have games throughout this weekend, and we'll have games on tomorrow night, as we'll see more Maple Leafs action. This time it's the Midget AAA, 7:30 tomorrow night.
St. John's against the Western Kings from Cornerbrook. And now an opportunity here as Jeremy McDonald looks to set one up. He tried to play that through for Steve Tilley. Here's Nick Antropov leading a Toronto attack in through the middle. Antropov thinks about shooting. Now he'll dangle and hold it. Throw it for Thomas. Nifty pass. Wrap around attempt there. Did it go in? Or did Downers stymie that? He stymied it. That was a chance there.
We're going to need a review now.
Wow. Was that Kevin McGuire had the chance, or was that Christian Hansen?
I believe that was McGuire there.
Oh, Mags with a chance for the hat trick, maybe? Primo's got the only one. Cody Squires has got 2 of the St. John's goals.
McGuire's only got 1 tonight, so.
Who, Kevin?
Yeah.
McGuire, he scored the first goal in this game.
That was Primo.
It looked to me like it was McGuire going to the bench. Well, if that's the case, then Wayne Primo's got 4 goals. I was positive it was Kevin McGuire. He took the backhand. He got in tight, but hey, it's been a while since they called the game, so I probably missed it. But it certainly looked like it was Kevin McGuire. Anyway, nevertheless, 10-7, 3:20 to go in this friendly from Mile 1 Center in downtown St. John's. Ooh, and there's Errol Kruken trying to get out of the way there. Now a feed up ice, and Zigomanis walking, and here's Downer one more time. Holding the fort. Kruken looking for a second helper. That's Harold. He's seen enough ice. He was playing on the back end there. Catch up with him after the game and ask him how he's feeling.
But the breakaway on the other side, that leg bump.
He was the last one to get the puck off ice, was he not, or one of them?
He was, yeah. And that leg pump there to try to beat the goaltender. That one just whistled wide of the post. I think, did he get a piece of that?
I think he did.
I think that.
Zigomanis can zip it. Downer made a fine stop. Kyle made some dandies here in this half of the game as the Caps look for more. Cujo, on the other hand, slamming the door there in tight. In a 10-7 Toronto lead with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Here's Mike Kruken up the middle for Jeremy Barron. A left wing pass as the Caps roar in. Big shot there. That was off Roger Pender's stick, and Cujo probably felt that, a hard rocket off the shoulders. St. John's try to get a little closer, down by 3 with 2:15 to go here. Here's O'Reilly into the corner as the Caps try to contain, but they'll lose possession and have to come back outside and regroup. Pender looking up the middle for O'Reilly, dropped it off, but Darcy Tucker was there to gobble that up. Now Tucker's picked off by McDonald. Inside the zone, Perry McDonald throwing one back on the slot. Here's the shot. Cujo the save. Another stop. Cujo, spectacular net finding in the final seconds of the hockey game as St. John's put on the full court press. Curtis Joseph made at least 3 saves there as St. John's threw it around and did so.
Fantastic
in
positioning
high.
too.
Yes, sir. Crisp passing and some good looks. Caps getting ready to take on the Southern Shore Breakers for the very first East Coast Senior Hockey League Championship, beginning in earnest Sunday night. Southern Shore Arena, Bobo, 8 o'clock, game one.
Start to see the blue light out there for a lot of these players, but here's the save by Curtis Joseph. Right out in front there, and a beautiful opportunity laying down the law there, and the stick as well, swatting that one away. And he's just been playing fantastic, and it's just been an absolute pleasure to see him play tonight.
Well, he wasn't flopping like a baby seal on an ice floe, but he certainly was Gumby-like between the pipes. And here is a puck deflected home and a shot from the point by Mitch Flynn, and it's redirected past the aforementioned Cujo. And it's a 10-8 hockey game.
1:07 left to go in this third period of action, and the Leafs still do have that insurance goal, and we might see an empty net here for our old time's sake. We might see someone get some points here. It's been a phenomenal game to see these 18 goals go in, and I've just had an absolute blast.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're happy. So into the final minute. So Mitch Flynn scored the goal. They hit a Toronto stick, it appears. And now a yawning cage for Nick Antropov. Kyle Downer's not there now. Here's Steve Thomas, and he flips it over top of a wide open cage. And I think Steve did that on purpose, to be quite honest with you. 10-8 the score, 35 to go. The Caps with the extra attacker. Down a bundle and now, or I was going to say a brace, and I said bundle, I meant two. A brace, like you would. And now an icing call. We haven't had many of those. In fact, that's the first one of the entire hockey game right there.
I believe that is the first one.
So that's pretty doggone good when you get your only icing call with 28.4 seconds left to play.
An opportunity for the Caps to come back here as they're only down by 2 goals, and they'll need 2 and just 28.4.
From the draw, here's a feed across for John Call. Back to the point as the Caps net is empty. 20 seconds to go. Wrist shot. That one was redirected wide of the net. Cujo scrambling to get back into position to have a look. That one's directed wide of the goal. Now it comes in front. Cujo got it back to the point by himself by using his stick adaptly to flick it out. The time's going to run out on the St. John's Capitals and the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni come to St. John's and put a 10-8 defeat on the St. John Senior Caps in what was a highly entertaining game here tonight at Mile One Center before a real solid crowd of Leaf fans here in Newfoundland and Labrador's capital city. Well done, everyone involved here tonight. We'll wait for the 3-star selection before signing off here this evening. But that was a lot of fun. Zach Power, I wish you all the best. Make sure you, like I said, get a good night's rest and ready for a busy weekend calling the AAA action of the championship final between Western Kings and St. John's Maple Leafs here on Rogers TV. As the handshakes are in abundance, and I'm sure there'll be time for both of these teams to enjoy themselves in their dressing rooms with a few frosty beverages and some after-game eats, and it was an enjoyable night here tonight, no doubt about it.
It's been fantastic to see all these goals here. The third period, Wayne Primo, Cody Squires, and Mitch Flynn out there all getting goals.
Well, Flynn finished with a pair too, as Mitch got credit for the last one, and he also scored on the shootout. So Flynn had a pair, as Cody Squires did for the Ice Caps. They did half the scoring for their hockey club.
It's just been fantastic to see both these players both these teams have just been so sportsman out there, and it's phenomenal. The Caps have been taking it easy and not body checking them into the glass when I know it's tempting.
Yeah, it's great time here tonight as the fans come to their feet, salute their hockey heroes from the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni, and that was a lot of fun here tonight. Teddy Murphy, Mike Shea, great work as the referees.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to announce the players of the game.
All right, so it's players of the game.
It's a tie for the goalies. Number 1, Scott Bray, and number 35,
Kyle Downer and Scotty Bray sharing the Player of the Game award for the St. John's Caps. So Wayne Primo with 4 goals in the hockey game. So, boy, I'll tell you what, I botched the first one I had to call tonight. I'm not going to let myself off the hook for that, but I will get some sleep.
Got a fantastic game there, Brian.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Now
we get a group shot here now. So Wayne Primo with the 4. So Kevin McGuire, my good friend and original Baby Leaf, finished with a goal and an assist. But that's a coup for Mags just to score and set one up too. So a lot of fun. Great to see Harold Druken be called to play in this game. Mike Ferryman, who's in charge of the Maple Leafs alumni. Mike's formerly Carlton the Bear, the mascot of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's right. I know I'm not supposed to probably give out that information, but Mike did a nice job here, along with Seamus O'Keefe and the Jack Casey and the members of the St. John's Green Sleeves Cap Senior Hockey Club, and putting this all together. Appreciate the opportunity. It's been a lot of fun here this evening, to say the least. So the players of the game, Wayne Primo for the Toronto Maple Leafs alumni, and Scotty Bray and Kyle Downer for the St. John's Senior Capitals. So on behalf of the entire Rogers crew, Zach Power, I'm Brian Rogers. Thanks for tuning in tonight, folks. Hope you enjoyed the action here at Rogers TV, wherever you might be. God bless you all. And don't forget the exciting AAA Midget Championship Final continuing this weekend. Zach on the call tomorrow night at 7:30 from the Glacier, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. It'll be games number 4 and 5. Bidding you good night from Mile One Center on Rogers TV.
Well, Mike certainly wasn't joking because that was a ripper of a tune. Loved it. All right, and you're listening to Kicker Radio or watching us on Rogers Community Television. Coming up our second half an hour. As St. John's becomes increasingly diverse, some are struggling to adjust to the change. Project Kindness hopes to relieve some of the anxiety with their latest event, Meet an Immigrant. I headed to the Rocket Bakery on Saturday to take Hosan High up on his offer. It's early on a cold and windy Saturday morning. Despite this, the Rocket Bakery is bustling with activity. At the very back of the cafe is a stoutly built Middle Eastern man with a beard down to his chest. He sits alone at a table with a sign that reads simply, Immigrant. The immigrant in question is Hosan High, founder of Project Kindness.
So Project Kindness, it's basically just a community organization. The purpose is to get regular people to be more engaged in building a better community, to people to step up, volunteer, understand that they can make a difference, and just really promoting good things within the community.
Meet an Immigrant is an event that offers Newfoundlanders an opportunity to speak with individuals from different cultures. The aim is to foster understanding and fight some of the ignorance that High says leads to fear.
If you cut through a lot of the vitriol and the sort of the really, what seems like hateful comments, the underlying theme is usually fear and ignorance. And I think particularly in Newfoundland, where historically we haven't had the opportunity to meet a lot of people with different backgrounds, and diversity can be scary at first, because change is scary. You hear about world events going on, and then someone who looks like someone who, did a bad thing in halfway across the world, you get afraid of what's going to change here.
High says humans tend to fear change instead of seeing it as something positive. He hopes that conversations like the one we're having will start to change all that.
Most people come here not with the intent of bringing their country with them, but they hold on to what they know, and then they're moving into an unknown. Imagine going to a party with complete strangers. How uncomfortable that is. Now imagine those strangers speak a different language, and then they eat food that's foreign to you, and then they act in ways that you don't really understand, and how you feel in that party. Now, you'll go in, and maybe in the first hour, you can't immediately get comfortable and act and talk and eat and dress like everyone else. But if someone were to maybe reach out to you and make you feel comfortable.
High was only a year old when he arrived in Canada from Pakistan. He says the struggles and anxieties his parents experienced as new Canadians are fairly typical, and that in order for immigrants and Canadians to adjust, they have to get to know each other.
People are inherently good. People don't want to be mean to one another. But when fear and ignorance, when it's left unchecked, it can lead to some bad things. And people tend to, I find, get really polarized and they dig in.
High believes that once people from different cultures get together, they inevitably find they have more similarities than differences. He says we all want the same thing, to be happy, healthy, and free from harm. Certainly an optimistic outlook, but in such polarizing times, a little idealism can go a long way. Stephen Miller, reporting for Kicker News. All right, and up next we have Mike Moore again with the news.
Kicker's Jason Shepard spoke with the St. John's resident whose home was targeted by a knife-wielding individual. She discusses the impact the attack has on her.
A stabbing wasn't enough. There had to be so much more violence to it, and the whole trauma definitely is going to be there for a while. That's the most difficult thing to deal with. I don't think there's any amount of medication that can help you with that. You got to find the answers in your life, and that's where people don't realize that they're so deeply disconnected.
The opioid crisis in Newfoundland and Labrador isn't going away. Kicker's Rebecca Blake spoke to two organizations, SHOP and SWAP, about the services and stigma of drug users getting help.
Newfoundland is known for many things: its beautiful landscape, wicked winds, and a growing opioid crisis. Opioids are not new to Canada. British Columbia has been suffering an opioid crisis for the past 6 years, and the future doesn't seem any brighter. It's no wonder that the BC government established safe injection sites, zones where intravenous drug users can pick up gear and be monitored by healthcare professionals while taking their drugs. Safe injection sites are slowly moving east. There are 3 in Montreal and 0 in Atlantic Canada. In November, the provincial government here proposed to track prescription drugs in order to monitor drugs in circulation, but they did not mention safe injection sites. Why is that? One word: stigma. Jared Yetman, the executive director of SWAP, says that safer injection sites are about harm reduction and not encouraging drug use.
Actually, SWAP stands for the Safe Works Access Program. It's harm reduction program is to decrease the spread of HIV and hepatitis C.
SWAP is a program ran by the AIDS Committee of Newfoundland and Labrador. It's all about harm reduction. And guess what? They come to you. That's right. SWAP uses a mobile approach to supply drug users with clean needles. Yetman says this is because many people don't have access to them.
So basically, both of these offices have the outreach vans.
I see.
And these outreach vans go out in the evening and provide needles to people who cannot otherwise get access to them, either because they're homeless or because they're afraid to come to a set site. And basically, all people have to do is call our mobile unit, and our mobile unit will deliver the supplies to wherever they're at.
SWAP isn't the only organization in town that wants to make drugs safer. SHOP is ran by St. John's Status of Women Council, and it's focused on providing resources to sex workers, including safe drug equipment. Heather Jarvis, the program coordinator of SHOP, says,
we want to make sure there are services available to everybody, especially groups of people who are often marginalized, and drug users are definitely a highly marginalized group of people.
Yetman says that education is the best way to break the chain of ignorance.
I think, basically what we really need to start doing is educating the public, starting in school. We do not have a good mental health strategy in the province, and we do not have an addiction strategy in the province. So these are a number of things that all have to happen at the same time if we're going to make an impact on helping and assisting people into rehabilitation.
I'm Rebecca Blake for Kicker News.
Judgment. No.
Caitlin Osmond's Olympic performance has the province buzzing. Kickers Arthur Green traveled to Marystown to see what locals were saying about their hometown hero.
Caitlin Osmond's team gold and individual bronze medal win at the Olympics in South Korea has captured the hearts of Canadian fans, especially in Marystown, Newfoundland and surrounding areas. Everywhere you go, people are chatting about the huge win. Nicole Gray says Osmond has inspired young people in the area to follow their dreams.
It's good knowing that someone from around here would be so good in the Olympics, because you'd never think that somebody from your hometown would actually make it there.
Her individual bronze medal win was Team Canada's 27th medal of the 2018 Olympics. A proud accomplishment for Osmond. Her Black Swan routine crowned her the 6th Canadian woman in history to win an individual figure skating medal at the Olympics. Osmond doesn't live in Marystown anymore, but she still has family here. Juanita Moulton says Osmond is a great role model.
That's the type of people that we need in our young people today, to show them that anything is possible if you work hard and you love it enough.
The road doesn't end here for Osmond. She's already back training in Edmonton for the World Figure Skating Championship in Milan, Italy next month. For Kicker News, I'm Arthur Craig Green.
Music fans have one more thing to look forward to this summer. The Out of Earshot Festival will bring together music and art for a grassroots do-it-yourself event taking place in the capital city. Kicker's Mike Moore reporting.
St. John's is getting another summer festival. Out of Earshot aims to bring together music and art over 3 days in August. Festival organizer Nicole Squires says it's about showcasing the rich pool of talent in the city. The hope is to get local artists and musicians some national recognition.
I wanted to see some growing in the diversity of the music we bring here, because it's so hard to bring bands from away here because it's super expensive, and there's only a few music festivals because it is so hard. So me and a few pals who are also majority musicians and artists decided that in lieu of Shut Island deciding to discontinue the festival, that we would kind of hop in their place.
The festival will feature both indoor and outdoor venues for concertgoers to ensure accessibility for any and all music fans.
It's going to be multi-venue for sure. We're still working on like the application process and our website and stuff, so we haven't really looked too much into venue. We are definitely going to make sure that there's going to be some stuff outside, just because it is like one of the only ways to set up an accessible show, because the venues downtown St. John's are not accessible at all. and that is something that we are really dedicated to.
And it's not just about the music. Organizers hope to inject local art into the weekend's festivities.
So we're hoping, because the festival will be happening at the end of August, which is very close to the Whole Fest Festival that Eastern Edge organizes every summer. So we're hoping that, and Peppa Chan, who's one of our directors of this festival, is an amazing artist. She's so talented. So we're hoping that we will be bringing some art workshops into the mix, into the festival, to just make it a little bit more eclectic.
While Out of Earshot is still in its planning stages and fundraising is going well, local music and art fans can add one more thing to their to-do list this summer. For Kicker News, I'm Mike Moore.
All right, Mike. So far, you're 2 for 2 with Search Party songs.
No, I think it's going all right.
I am very, very impressed. So I want to hear more about this EP launch tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's been a while. It's been a long time coming. The thing's been done for, oh man, I don't know, 14 months or so, like completed. We're just kind of, life kind of got in the way for a lot of us. And some of our members travel quite a bit and, have families and things like that, right? So things get in the way, and we can't rehearse and play as much as we'd like, but we do when we can. So last month we had our first show after 3 years of, recording and hanging out and being a band, but we weren't officially a band, I guess, until we played.
How did that first show feel?
It was cool. It was at the Ship, and it was, there was 50 to 60 people there, but at the Ship, 60 people is a good crowd because it's
absolutely,
it's a small venue anyways, right? So it was fun, and we had to, we played some covers with some original tunes, and it was cool. And we had our friend Dave Whitty and his band open up, and Another North that closed the night, and those guys were great. So it was more of a lot of our friends were there anyway, so it was, it worked out great.
So what is your favorite song to cover?
Ooh, well, we have a couple of surprises for tomorrow night.
Ooh, hear that, people?
Which should be cool. And but I think, we do Hall & Oates, man. You make my dreams come true. And we threw that in for the Ship show because we're this is just going to be hilarious, I think. so we did it, and it ended up people were like, oh my God, I can't believe you played this.
Well, yeah. I want to be one of those people tomorrow night, so if I go there, do not disappoint.
I think I'm going to be going to.
Excellent.
Hopefully.
You sold her.
That would be cool. That would be deadly.
Earlier you mentioned that when I was asking you about the songs, that you guys write songs together, or you did. Do you always write your songs together, I guess? Or
yeah, for the most part, someone will show up with a riff or a lyric or an idea, and then we'll flesh it out together, and then we'll take a day where we'll all sit down together and literally write the lyrics. So if someone doesn't come with a complete song, we'll all just sit down and be like, all right, I have this idea for this verse, and what do you have? And then we'll just kind of mash it together. And then when we have a complete song, we'll run through it with a comb and make sure it's cohesive, and it's not like this verse is about rainbows and this one's about Satan. you know what I mean?
Polar opposites.
Right, exactly.
Even though a song about Satan and rainbows would be fun.
I think that's our next one.
I think the next album should be titled Satan's Rainbow. Actually, that sounds like a pretty. That's an album I'd buy for sure. Yeah. So the process of writing together is I would assume that you guys have to be all pretty tight, pretty good friends for that not to be a potentially tense process.
Well, we weren't at first. We all, myself and Adam, the lead singer, we grew up together, and our other guitar player, Berkey, he taught us guitar when we were in high school, and he was still in high school himself. And the guy's unreal. He's not trained, but he just, I don't know, that's the way his brain works. He's just incredible at the guitar. And then we met Val, and Sean, our drummer, came along later, and over the course of 3.5 years now, we've become super tight, and we get drunk together, and that makes everybody bond.
It's definitely a very good way to bond,
yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, You don't need to take his word for how great the band is, because we're going to let you hear a tune from them right now called Within This Bottle by Search Party. Great tune. Never Let Me Down Yet. That's 3 for 3. Okay, so the Writers Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador. Have you heard of it? Kicker's Emily Leiber certainly hadn't, but she discovered a welcoming community of like-minded authors reaching out for more members across the province.
Are you a young writer trying to break into the world of publishing? Or even an established writer just looking for someone to share in your pain? Well, have you heard of the Writers Alliance of Newfoundland and Labrador? No? Join the club. Despite being around for over 30 years, a lot of people, writers included, haven't even heard the name. So why is that? Vice President Kelly Power speculates.
Even though we're a small community, I hadn't myself heard about the Writers Alliance before it was mentioned to me in a completely unrelated capacity related to my work. Yeah. So part of it might be not knowing that there's an organization out there that's there to advocate on behalf of writers, that offers services that writers, even and maybe especially emerging writers, can benefit from.
Thankfully, it seems the Alliance is aiming to change all that. Youth Representative Ellen Curtis says they're trying to reach the younger crowds, enticing people under 17 to join for free and giving students exclusive discounts.
I think one of the things that's kept people from applying in the past to be a member is that they don't realize how accessible we are and what kinds of services we can offer to youth. There seems to be a perception among some groups that maybe there's this old guard that doesn't want to let in young writers or unestablished talent, and that's just not the case. So we would love to start getting in touch with more people, and one of the things that we're looking at doing more of is outreach to make sure we connect with these groups and find out from them as well through feedback what other kinds of services that they would like to see us offer.
On top of being rather obscure, there's this assumption that in order to join, you should be published, or at least somewhat established as a writer. But Curtis says that's totally untrue.
But that is a perception that a lot of people have. And I can't speak to where that perception started, but it's certainly something that among membership committee we're looking to change very, very strongly. So it doesn't matter what stage of your writing process you're at. Even if you're only, tinkering in your bedroom on a pad and paper, you're still a writer.
As for why writers in the province should consider joining, on top of arranging things like workshops and mentorships, both Curtis and Power agree that the primary benefit is the community the Alliance provides.
I think one of the biggest benefits I could see right now is the community base. A lot of people think that as a writer, you're doing your work in a solitary environment, and that's not the case. You need to be able to network with other authors, find out what's happening in the industry, and the wonderful thing about it is that it's here locally, so you're getting information that's tailored to our local scene.
I feel like if I could sell a point to anybody about the benefit of being part of an organization like that, it would be something like that. You just get that feeling for there's a much wider world of people out there doing what you're doing or aspiring to do what you do.
And if none of that convinces you, if you sign up, you'll get a sweet date planner, completely free. What more could they offer you? Apply on their website, wanl.ca, or visit them in Haymarket Square. For Kicker Radio, I'm Emily Liver.
The Munn Seahawks basketball team has just wrapped up their season. Saturday, they face off against the St. Mary's Huskies for their final game at home. For 3 Seahawks, Daniel Gordon, David Parnsula, and Jovan Baboic, it's time to leave the nest. Kicker's Dylan Shepard has the story.
The field house at Munn filled with the sound of cheers and the squeak of sneakers. 3 Seahawks are soaking up every bit of the atmosphere. They're graduating, leaving the nest. How would you explain your time here, Alex?
Wonderful. It's just the fact that coming to a new province, everyone's friendly here. It's like they welcome me home. Like, I played here for 3 years. The seats were packed. Always, like, the fans were going crazy. The kids, like, I'm good friends with everyone here. It's just an amazing experience.
And Daniel Gordon says he'd like to play pro ball someday, but right now he's just planning on finishing his degree at another school on the mainland. Describe your time on the team.
It was just amazing. The guys, playing with these guys, it made it fun. It made it relaxing. It just made me enjoy the game, right? So overall, amazing experience. I'll miss it, and yeah, it was just fun to play with these guys.
And Davion Parnsula loved his time on the team, but has put the thought of the future on the back burner as he wants to focus mainly on the playoffs to come. Jovan Babovic has played for the team for 4 years and has made the playoffs 3 times out of his time with the team.
I mean, it was amazing. 4 years ago when I came here, it was a completely different story. I think this team completely turned the whole season around. And I think we made some great results in the past 4 years. We went to playoffs 3 out of 4 years, so I think that's a good accomplishment moving forward.
Jovan doesn't plan on continuing his basketball career after this year's playoffs, as he wants to start his own business someday after he finishes school. Even though they lost their final game at home against the Huskies, the Seahawks remain optimistic about their playoff games coming up shortly. This has been Dylan Shepard reporting for Kicker News.
Once again, I'm here with Search Party's Mike Moore. I know, right? Celebrity in studio today.
Who's that guy?
He's the best. You should hear him. So, tomorrow's a big night for you?
Yes. Yeah. We were due, I think. Yeah, tomorrow night at the Rock House. Doors open at 10. Matt Hornell is going to open up at 11 o'clock. And so Search Party will go on around 12 or 12:30. And to close the night, Joe Grizzly, which is Mike Sims and those boys. They're like a blues rock band. They're fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar,
yeah. So we'll have EPs there for sale. I think they're going to be like $5. Cover is $10. And so, I mean, for $20, you get, cover, beer, and a CD.
Actually, like, I'm sold. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm sold.
I think that's a good deal.
That's excellent. So you've got a lot of people on board, and then I'm expecting a big turnout.
I hope. With the way things go these days, with Facebook, people say they're going to things and then they're not going to things. So
yeah, I've noticed that. All right, well, as promised, here is another song from Search Party called Storytellin' Man.
Thanks for listening to Kicker Radio and watching on Rogers Community Television. I'm Amy Clary.
And I'm Stephen Miller.
Oh, and I'm Mike Moore.
Of course, we got to let the celebrity.
Thank you.
We're really happy you joined us, and we look forward to bringing you some shows in the future.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
This season, the stakes are even higher.
You want to go back to work with me?
Well, I was thinking more feed you to the lions.
Brian's bringing Sarah onto his team
Oh boy.
to work with clients for the first time.
They've changed their mind on this area here.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Didn't go as smoothly as I would have liked.
I thought you were a handful. Now I have you and I have homeowners and I'm in the middle. Stress.
Brian Inc. New season January 14th on HGTV.
Marijuana is the most common drug found among teen driving fatalities in Canada. High school seniors have reported to having been a passenger in a car with a high drug, and over half the drivers.
The feeling in my fingertips, but these words are ready to leave my lips.
This stuff, you cannot beat it. It is the best thing to add to your garden, bar none.
Wind energy is not only great environmentally, but it's also good for our pocketbooks.
Way to make a positive difference in the environment for your community.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Walsh. This is Extrapreneurs, the show about women in business who love to innovate, collaborate, share ideas, and find solutions. We have a real news you can use type of show for you today. We're talking social media and web marketing for your business, and we'll get into the importance of self-care from our friends at Ruby Rose Beauty Bar. Stay with us.
Newfoundland and Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs.